If you've ever walked into a room in your house and totally forgot why you were going there, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. The second day of the week is here, which means it's time to make some more money. We are going to hit it. Let me play the intro.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning, folks. Happy March 12th. I hope that your Tuesday is treating you well. We are here to get started with Benzinga Live Trading. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you are ready to make some money. I got my main man in the back, ready to go. 13, how the heck are you doing here today?
I'm having a good morning. I don't know that the market is going to. It seems a little slow, but that could probably change. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's go ahead and break it down. Let's see what we can actually get rolling here today. Now, the first thing that we, I guess, should start off with here is we did get that CPI print already here this morning. So I understand that this wall of text may be difficult for you folks to see. But when you have Benzinga Pro on your own machine, you can make that text as visible as you want. In any case, the U.S. CPI month over month for February came in at 0.4% versus the 4/10 estimate. The prior reading was 0.3. Core CPI month over month for February came in at 0.4 versus the 0.3 estimate, and CPI year over year for February came in at 3.2 versus 3.1 expected. The prior read was also 3.1. So 13, I know we've talked about this on the happy hour. We actually talked about this a little bit on live trading yesterday. I think there was someone in both shows that said that the CPI is liable to come in hot. You know, you were kind of thinking that too. What did you think? What did you make about this number here?
I guess I'm just not really surprised by this because, you know, we were expecting CPI to kind of level out a bit. That's what we've been seeing in some of these other reports. So, you know, we saw food come down a bit. We saw fuel move up a bit. So it kind of broadened out. It's really just, you know, shelter service and shelter services that are really still causing problems for inflation. But this is pretty much right in line with where I was looking for. This was thinking maybe a little bit lower, but that didn't happen. I don't think this is going to be too big of an impact. The market already kind of sold off as soon as the print hit, and then it came it bought right back up. So this might, you know, be a big nothing burger today.
Yeah, I mean, to your point here, it looks like here's the actual print. Here's the sell-off that you're talking about. This got bought all the way back to green. Furthermore, we're actually rolling back over to balance here. Right, so we will see what the market actually thinks about this. It's worth noting we are slightly higher than yesterday's close. Sorry about that. Again, if we take a look at the daily chart here, yesterday, it's so funny. Every time we see this pattern, I think to myself, oh, we're probably going to go up. We're probably going to be higher. So far, we're trading higher. It'll be very interesting to me to see if we actually take out some of these highs, maybe make it towards the top of this prior candle here. I have that high at 518.22. We're currently at 513, so it's about 5 points and change away. We'll see if we end up getting there. Jay Rice, good morning. Jay saying that our keys today are going to be the TLT, the dollar, and the IWM. We'll definitely watch those. We normally do take a look at all of those at some point throughout the course of the day. Here is your IWM chart. This is definitely one I'm waiting on. Most of my longer term or my swing portfolio is actually in small caps. I'd love to see small caps really kind of break out, challenge that 220 level on the IWM. And see what we can get for that. So we'll see how this goes. I don't really have like an edge either way. Like I feel good today, but I'm not like antsy to trade, right? I'm still going to try and be patient. I'm still going to try and be tactical here today. So I'm really interested to see what the scanners say and then what the market actually looks like after that opening print. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some of the movers here this morning. The first one I do want to start with is going to be Oracle. I know this is not one of the smaller ones, but this was probably the biggest stock to report last night. Let me know if you guys have any others that you thought were more important. This Oracle shares trading higher after the company reported Q3 financial results. You could see the stock was about 114 yesterday, printing 128 here today, up about 12%. Report looked pretty good. Oracle sure looks like this is breaking out. Now, the key here is going to be, do we actually retrace some of this move and maybe come in from this previous double top that we went through? Or do we continue to break out here? I'm curious to know if anyone is looking for maybe like a gap and go trade on this one. One of the things that I would do for that, I would actually add a 9 EMA in here, exponential moving average 9 EMA. Let's turn the view app off. You could change the color here so it's a little bit easier to see. But in any case, let me know if anyone's looking to trade Oracle out of the gate here for some gains on this pretty good report.
It seemed like Oracle gave us some clues as to just how far NVIDIA could go. Because one of the things that they had said in their conference call was that, let me see if I can bring it up here. I'm having trouble finding it. It was regarding the hyper growth of their AI servers, their cloud servers. So to me, that this means that this NVIDIA is not done selling H100 processors. They're here we go. Cloud infrastructure business in hypergrowth, strong AI demand, and more. So if we get a pullback in the market or NVIDIA or in any of these big major chip stocks, that might be a pullback worth buying, because we could potentially just rocket to new all-time highs following a pullback or a correction. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I think that hyper growth mention is likely why this thing is moving so good here. Oracle traditionally, Oracle traditionally, correct me if I'm wrong, Oracle traditionally doesn't really move 12, 13, 14% in a day. That's what we've got right here. It'll be interesting to see where we finish on Oracle. Kalu saying Oracle is a good one. Yeah, indeed. I'm looking to add on Oracle. Okay, awesome. So looks like we've got some stuff here this morning. Jay also mentioning that gold is not liking the CPI. That's, of course, ticker GLD. I know that that's recently been at highs along with Bitcoin. Gold here evidently trading down a little bit, not really liking that CPI coming in from some of these all-time highs here on ticker GLD. But that's okay. I think that just looks like a little bit of a regression to the mean. Okay,
I think that's temporary.
Yeah, I think that's temporary as well. But if you're interested in gold, maybe looking for gold on weakness might be the move for you. Okay, let's take a look at some of these faster movers here that are going in the pre-market. Again, these are our shorter term trades that we generally take a look at. First one here on the list is going to be CLRO, ticker CLRO. This is Clear One. Catalyst here, Clear One shares are trading higher after the company announced a special one-time cash dividend. Okay, so here we go with these special dividends again. I've actually seen some of these other stocks give some of these or PR some of these, and they end up moving here. Clear One declares a special one-time cash dividend of 50 cents. So at least this is, not something crazy like $7 for this $1 stock or whatever it is. 50 cent here, cash dividend. I actually didn't go special cash dividend. I didn't go through here. It looks like company, a stockholder of the company that sells shares of the company's common stock on or prior to the payment of April 10th will not receive the one-time dividend. So it looks like they're trying to get you to hold this through April 10th to actually get that dividend. Stock up 95% here in the pre-market.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. It might be a good trade vehicle today. I'm just not sure I'll be spending a lot of time on it. The thing that they're doing here is they mentioned earlier or last year in Q4 that they were undergoing some balance sheet improvements. And I think this may be the result of that. The 50-cent cash dividend that they're putting out, I think that represents less than $5 million. And they have about 13 million in cash, almost 14 million in cash. So, I don't know that this dividend is really that special. But I think it's just kind of like it's attention grabbing, and that's what they're going for here. I don't know a whole lot about this company. I'm not sure I would even hold the stock into that dividend. So
yeah, to me, I mean, just from like a trading perspective here, the cash dividend or the special dividend here doesn't entice me to actually buy this and hold this. Instead, I see that news. I see movement for the stock. I look at the chart and think, boy, technically the stock is moving on high volume. Maybe there's a trade here that we can hit. If we do trade I guess I shouldn't say we right there. I should amend that. If I trade CLRO here today, there's no way that I'm going to be holding this overnight. I'm definitely not looking for that dividend payout. I'm basically just looking to capture any movement on the stock based on this.
Yeah, and they have a just under 10 million share float, so shouldn't be too hard to move around. Definitely a trading vehicle, but after today, I may not ever want to see it again.
Yeah. Okay. Next here on the list is RGLS. This is Regulus Therapeutics. We do have another catalyst here. Regulus Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company announced top-line results from the second cohort of patients in its phase 1b MAD study for RGLS 8429 for the treatment of ADPKD. The company announced that it oversubscribed 100 million private placement of equity. So RGLS here popping 73%. We actually traded up towards that 280 handle. Looks like we got about 276 coming back here to the VWAP. It's worth noting that in the pre-market here, even on heavy volume, every time that we've come back to the VWAP, we've bounced. We're coming back to the VWAP right here again. So definitely want to see how the stock actually performs when the market opens. Even if we dip below the VWAP here, as long as we really don't break down, that's still a positive for me, especially if we can reclaim that VWAP. Big thing for me here is going to be the volume. Does this volume carry over and then maybe even expand into the regular session? If it does, I think we might have a trade here on RGLS. We've actually traded this one here before, and it looks like we have the makings of a double top here at 276. So I know that some of these upside breakout trades are working with less frequency, but keep an eye on that spot. Definitely going to encounter some resistance there. If we blow through it, we might actually get a pop on RGLS. What do you got on this one here, 13?
It's got a 15.6 million share float, so it's still not too difficult to move around. I don't think it matters, but they did have a reverse split back in 22, 1 for 10. That's too far in the past. I don't think that makes a big difference in terms of the impact it has on trading today. The only thing that I think is very interesting about this, aside from the oversubscribed private placement, is their phase 1B results. There's more phases in that are going to be coming out down the line. So I don't think this will be the last time we see this one. But today, to your point, let's just see if we can get above that resistance. That's about at 275 that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, I had 276 was the spot, but 275, 276, that's the same difference here. Sure looks like RGLS has really kind of come off the bottom here. I do see some more upside targets, probably some resistance up here. If we start popping and going towards 3, I could see the stock really stopping there. Tops of some of these candles here, 342 and 370 beyond that. So we'll see if RGLS has that kind of power here today. Next on the list is NUKK. This is Nucleus. You can see here we actually drifted up a little bit in the after hours yesterday, popped on heavy volume here this morning up towards 260, regressed back to the mean towards 166. We've done a good job kind of holding in here that 160 level. We are pretty extended from the VWAP, good 30 plus cents away here from the VWAP. So maybe even a trade back to the VWAP would be pretty good on this one. When I take a look at the news here, I don't see anything fresh. I do see we did have some news last week, nothing fresh here this week. So I don't know that there's really any other news driving this. If anyone else saw anything out there that I may have missed, let me know. But NUKK 13, what are you seeing on this one, my man?
Yeah, your point about the news last week, they announced a CFO resignation and the CEO assumed the interim role. So that was the big news last week. Not sure why it's moving today. I think it's just momentum, market momentum. But the thing is that this has 105 million share float. I don't know that we're going to see the same movement out of this one that we are from the other ones we mentioned earlier. This might not move as handily as the others, but we'll have to wait and see. I just don't know that this is going to be a big trading vehicle today.
Yeah, the other thing is that when you start to get some of these bigger floats here, they might move over the course of the day. They might just move a little bit slower. So it might not be as volatile. You might not be able to get those gains or those in and out moves as quick as you do on some of these other ones. But that doesn't mean that it's not necessarily a good play. As long as it kind of follows the plan that you've made at the outset of the trade, then I feel like that's going to be fairly easy to trade, right? If it's doing what you're expecting it to do, even if it's not moving fast, that's okay. It should be pretty easy to keep tabs on. So, all right, let's keep rolling down the list here. Got a couple that are still gapping up. This next one here, SGLY. I'm not sure I've ever pulled this ticker up in my broker or in pro. I'm not familiar with this.
Just look at the name.
Singularity Future Tech. It's a pretty cool name, but don't know much about it. Don't know much about it. Don't see any fresh news.
Yeah, this has all the hallmarks of just stay away. This is a company that drives its revenue mainly from China. I know that we have some China names that are moving today. I think the yen was up, the YINN. So there is some positivity in that sector, but I just can't bring myself to trade any of these obscure Chinese names. I just don't trust them. They don't want to get rug pull all of a sudden for no good reason. And if there's no news driving this, what are we trading here?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. This thing looks like it's breaking down. We've got other plays just on the list already, frankly, that are going to be a little bit better than this one. Okay, we do have 12 minutes here, so we should have plenty of time. I know you guys are talking about BTAI. We will take a look at that here in a sec. RERE, this is at Renew. This is another one here that's gapping up this morning. We do have a catalyst on this one. It's not just technicals. At Renew shares trading higher after the company reported year-over-year increase in Q4 financial results and issued Q1 revenue guidance. The company announced a $20 million share repurchase program. So good news really across the board on RERE here. We'll see if this ends up making some type of move today. I actually got a pretty kind of a trading range in here. Let's call it 150 maybe to 166. I would say I'd like to see us break out of that. I know we're breaking down from that 150 here. Let's see if we hold some of those lows and turn around here. What do you got on RERE?
Same thing as NUKK. It's got a very large float, 186 million shares. So this, to your point earlier, this could be another one of those just kind of slow grinds in one direction for a good portion of the day. This news, though, seems to be a lot better than what, I don't think NUK had any news. So this is definitely something that could move it up more likely than it would NUKK. There's actually something here. The one thing that I have a problem with is that this is another China stock. So I'm very, very, trying to stay away from that right now. So I don't know whether or not I'm going to trade this. I just don't, this is going to be a trading vehicle, but I don't want to be in these trading vehicles too long. And if these like large float companies require you to be in there for a good period of time in order to capture that slow movement, I may not just trade it at all.
Fair enough there. Jay here, to that point here, where was that comment? Jay here saying 13. He wrote 12, but I think he meant 13. He's learned a lot on these China names. Agree with him. This is nothing new. I hate to break it to you, but this is actually nothing new. This has actually been a core discussion in our happy hour group for, I gotta say, we've got to be 2+ years now at this point. We've been kind of watching a lot of these Chinese names. Again, we do have some people with boots on the ground in Asia that actually help us get on-site intel with some of these companies and some of the happenings there. We've also seen a lot of these companies, quote, steal the bag, right? They'll do whatever they can to kind of generate money. Then they just all of a sudden disappear. Stock trades into oblivion, and they
stop reporting.
Sheets, they stop reporting. They stop doing all of that stuff. So we've seen this before. There are only so many times that we can say, hey, this is dangerous. Happens to be moving this morning. It's dangerous, though. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Well, at the end of the day, we don't push the buttons for you. We can't do it either way. We're going to definitely try and call out what's moving and see if there's an opportunity to trade that here. With you on all those Chinese names, I would put myself in the same camp. I don't necessarily care for them at all. Very, very difficult for me to hold them overnight.
I don't really have anything else for what was moving this morning, but I think some of these tickers in here might be that the chat's giving us might be worth a look.
Yeah, I got two more here. First one's going to be MDAI. This is Spectral AI. We're very familiar with this one. We've seen this one pop, drop, shake, and wiggle and do all of that fun stuff here. Spectral AI shares trading higher after the company announced a new U.S. government contract to provide additional support for the development of the handheld version of Deep View wound imaging system. I don't need any of the pictures from that. I don't need to see that. I'm just going to trust the reports on this one. It's worth noting here, this stock did pop as high as 250, which is near the high from the March 7th. That was last Thursday's pre-market session. We pulled all the way back down to 190, and now we're making a move back up towards the VWAP. This thing to me, look at the chart here. I believe this was a former SPAC. It's maybe going through the de-SPACing process. You could see a real big drop. Not the greatest chart here. We'll see if we can end up clearing out some of these levels here, maybe make a move towards 3. I think that'd be asking a lot, but we'll see if that's on deck here for today.
The thing about that contract that they got, it's only worth $500,000. And if you look at their market cap as of the close yesterday, they're at 28 million. So basically this contract represents 1/56th of their market cap. I don't know that that's going to, I mean, it's news. It's good news. I just don't think it's very big news.
Yeah,
you know
it's not as material as maybe the stock reaction is showing you here this morning, and that's kind of what we're uncovering here. I agree with you, 13. Nick saying morning all. Thanks as always, Ryan. 13. I hate the time change. Well, you know what? I had open session on the time change yesterday. I allowed anyone that wanted to complain about it on live trading and on happy hour later in the day. We said our complaints. It's funny. We actually have some people that join us from the other side of the world in happy hour, and they didn't have to deal with daylight savings. Boy, they were surprised to see that session already half over when they joined. So you're not the only one. It sucks. It is what it is. But thankfully, it's past us. And the next one, we actually gain an hour. So we should be happier next time around. This is the one that I complain about. All right, next here is going to be BTAI. I know Smoke Tuna was mentioning this one earlier. The stock only up 11.5% in the pre-market today and on low volume. Does have a catalyst, though, and actually looks pretty good. So BioXcel Therapeutic shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 GAAP EPS results. You can see we popped as high as 325. We pulled back to the VWAP, did a really good job holding that VWAP, and now we're drifting back up towards that 325 level. It'll be interesting to see if this can actually pop and move. If we take a look back here, you can see this was an area that we were in not long ago. A look at the 15-minute chart shows that we're pretty much trading around here. Let's see if we can actually make it up to 350. That would be a significant spot. And then maybe this 382, 383 level before 418, 417-ish. So there are the spots that I'm looking at in BTAI. What are you seeing, 13?
Well, when I look at that, the headline from their earnings, seeing that they missed by about half on their sales, I'm like, well, why is this running? And then I see, okay, well, they have cash and equivalents of 65 million that is expected to provide a cash runway into mid 2024. So that's the good news, in my opinion, that is on why this is moving, because they have so much cash. They can keep operations going. They can keep their drug development going at least until halfway through the year, and then we'll probably see some kind of an offering or cash raising scheme that they're going to implement so they can keep going doing their development. But I think that's the big news, is that they have the cash to keep operations going. So I don't know where this could end up on that news, but we also have a pretty high short interest, and I think this is from a reverse split. Let me see if that's the case. No, it wasn't. Okay, so I'm not sure why the short interest is so high. Don't have very big days to cover, so they may be. I really can't tell you what's going on with that, to be honest. I don't know why we have such a high short interest and low days to cover, but that's just one other thing I noticed. So the low
days to cover looks to be like a change in the volume here. The 10-day average changed from about 500,000 to 5.24 million. That's going to drastically alter that days to cover metric that we're taking a look at. So that's something to keep in mind here. The other thing is that obviously the earnings here were this morning, not yesterday. So we'll see if this, and the conference call just concluded, this actually breaking through that 325 top that's continuing to move here. BTAI, this is definitely one we should take a look at here right around the open. Got about 3 minutes till we open here, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more tickers here from the chat. You guys, Jane, good morning, Jane. It's great to see you again. You were mentioning that RGLS is going here. Looks like this is trading up off that VWAP, but again, that 276 spot, that's going to be one of the spots to take a look at. Let's see, what am I missing here? I held Nook and Celex. Nice job, Bex. You should be banking on NUKK. We took a look at that. SELX. I might not be able to get a chart here yet because I didn't have a price quote for that. I'll get back over to that one here. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up in another chart here. That one about flat, so not doing a whole lot here this morning. Let's roll through some of the other ones. Jay mentioning here the best 5% movers in the S&P yesterday. Let's take a look at some of those. Are going to be some of these bigger stocks here. First one's going to be Moderna. This is a company that I just will never own just for an ethical standpoint here. However, trading action looking pretty darn good here. And actually, if we zoom in on this formation, this is a formation that I just generally really, really like. Stock really kind of moves off the bottom, retraces some of that move, shakes out any of the people on the short-term trades, and then makes another move back towards the high. That's what Moderna is doing here. Look for a 116 possible breakout there. Next one here is going to be Pfizer. Again, this is not something that I would own or trade. Pfizer here looking like this is coming up off the bottom. We'll see if this can actually reach 30. Albemarle, another one being mentioned by Jay here. This also, I want to shout out Zoltan because Zoltan did a masterful job trading this off the 100 level or the low 100 level. This stock continuing to trade up off the bottom. Looks like maybe this wants to make a move towards 140 here, ticker ALB. Another really good one. Paramount. Didn't we have some news this morning about Paramount and Apollo Management? Let me see if that was in here. Yeah, Apollo reaches out to Paramount about the deal. So maybe we'll get some more news or updates about that potential deal. Looks like they're up about 5% here in the pre-market. Yikes, what kind of candle is that? Jeez. It's a really zoomed in candle. So it looks like we're up again here today. Let's see if we can actually make a move towards 13 and test that 13. Worst were Eli Lilly, Meta, and AMD. Did you see the laggard pattern there? No, let's take a look at that. Got about 10 seconds till we open. I'll do this about as fast as I can. Here's Lilly.
Go.
Oh, geez. Way to put me on the spot like that. Here's Lilly kind of rolling over here. Here's Meta. Looks like it's kind of rolling over and bouncing. And then AMD is your final one here. Of course, that chart doesn't load. Right, there we go. That does look like the exact same chart. Jay, those formations. Okay, let me flip over to the main chart, and then we will, of course, open up Trade the Pool's broker here. Of course, Trade the Pool sponsors this stream. Let them know if you need to get above that 25K threshold or need $250,000 in buying power. They can help you out. Check them out. All right, what do we got here? What do we got moving here? NUKK. Let's see what that's doing. Looks like that's coming back in a little bit. Bex, I wouldn't let that trade go red on you. I don't trust that one. RERE. Looks like this actually traded up to the VWAP right out of the gate. That's nice to see. Oh, let me adjust my calendar here. I've got an old date on that.
There's a real battle going on with RGLS right now.
Okay, let me flip over to that here real quick. Sorry, I'm just adjusting some stuff. And you know what, 13, I'll actually, since the chat and you have done such a great job with the scanning help, I'm just going to flip over to the broker and try and keep myself more ready. How about that?
All right.
Bang, bang. There we go. All right, here's CellX. Looks like that did pop a little bit out of the gate. RGLS was the one that you mentioned, 13?
It's trying to get over that 275 or 276 that we mentioned earlier. It's almost there.
270, some size there.
Oh man, it just kind of falls down, and then there's a huge order that just buys it right back up to that spot. But yeah, it's having a hard time getting over there. Let's see what else.
See if it comes back on here.
BTAI is going down. DAI is going down.
I'm going to roll through some of these too. CLRO here. Looks like that's struggling to get its VWAP. Oh, nice job, Jane Smith, on a really quick trade here. Love to see this. Got in RGLS, 232 out, 273. That's a nice little.
I bet that was a matter of seconds.
Out of the gate there, James.
But that was a matter of seconds. She did that.
Jane's got some quick fingers over there.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
to see.
Or she had the orders set up right. Yeah.
Oracle. How's Oracle doing out of the gate here? ORCL. Oh, Oracle's selling off here, giving up some of those gains.
Looks like TCBP from yesterday is trying to push up, but the volume just really isn't there at the moment. I'm just kind of going through some of these older ones.
Yeah, and that's fine. Shout out those spots. Oracle, potential bounce spot 123.50 if this pull continues here. MDAI was one of the ones that we took a look at earlier. Looks like that's struggling with the VWAP so far.
Yeah, Oracle looks like it could get down to, what is this? About 123.70. That's an EMA I have on my chart, the 200 on the 5 minute. I think it could, if we get down there with some pretty quick selling movement, we could see a nice bounce for maybe 50 cents to $1.
TCBP continuing to trade up here. Le Captain Yog ringing that cash register. RGLS looks like it's paying people out here today. You absolutely love to see that.
Big wall at $3 though.
Yeah, so this has been a power move out of the gate. Now I don't want to chase this move here, but this has definitely shown some strength here. To 13's point, let's see what happens at that 3 level. Even a pullback here, pullback toward. Ooh, looks like that was kind of a flash pullback there. Pullback here towards 270 wouldn't be terrible. Some size here at 294. What's up with PAC? I don't know what that means. Is that a ticker?
Let's see. I haven't heard of that one before, but let's see.
Yeah, it actually is, and it's up considerably here. I see why you're asking that. Let me see if I can find some news for you here on PAC.
Earnings.
There you go. Thank you, Benzinga Pro. According to Benzinga Pro, this is up after earnings.
Yeah.
Ranpak.
And a price target raise.
And a price target raise. Looks like also Baird maintained its outperform, raising a price target from 5 to 7. Yep. You know what's crazy about some of these newer price targets that we've seen, and it doesn't even seem to matter what the price of the stock is. Bigger stocks, especially ones that are involved in tech or even smaller stocks like this, they get this rating, and I feel like the price just makes a mad dash to the actual target price. There's supposed to be 12 to 18 month projections, but the stock just moves really quickly to that. I mean, great if you're trading it, I suppose, if you're in it, but I mean, I'd like to see this probably take some more time. It just one of those things that kind of makes me feel like the market is maybe not as healthy as we think it is.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. We saw that a lot in 2021 too, where it would just kind of run to those price targets, then retreat.
Yep. That was definitely a thing of COVID here. All right, RGLS consolidating here. I'll be honest, I really like this consolidation. If it doesn't break down here, I think that consolidation would be good for another move higher. And give me just 1 sec. I got these spring allergies, man. They are smoking me. It's really warm here. I had the windows open. My nose is stuffed. I'll be right back. 1 sec.
Sounds good. So yeah, RGLS, the next level I have in this one is 305. If we can just actually try to stay above $3. What a fight though. Rum moving is offered to buy TikTok. I'll take a look at that in just a tick here. Looks like it's trying to work its way through $3. Man, it is just constantly getting rejected at 3, RGLS.
Sorry about that. Here we go.
You want to stay on RGLS while I look at Rum?
We can look at it together. I got no position here, so I don't need to stay on anything at the moment. I do want to see if RGLS decides to break out from this 3 level here. Looks like it's kind of thinking about it, but we can always come back. Man, I tell you what.
Oh,
it's happening a lot more. Okay, so here's Rum. What were you seeing on Rum? Looks like this popped and came back to the VWAP.
Rumble posts on X, an offer for TikTok from our CEO at Chris Pavlovsky.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see if that materializes. I know it's being touted as a TikTok ban. That's just simply not accurate. They just fall under one of the reasons that would make them banned. If I would think that if Rumble would buy them, they'd be able to kind of meet the requirements.
Yes,
and I think that would be the issue here.
That's the big thing that they're trying to work out in Congress right now is the language of this bill regarding TikTok. There's a camp that wants to say ban, and there's a camp that wants to say divest.
Yeah,
and there's a lot more things that they can do that Congress can do if divest is the one they go with. It includes having the company still be alive, but not in the hands of a Chinese owned company.
Jay adding here, no way that Rum buys TikTok. They simply don't have enough cash. That's actually a good point.
I think that's absolutely true.
Rum can't do it on their own. Agreeing with Jay here, Rum cannot do it on their own. They're just simply not big enough. Jay also mentioning big fade here in the IWM. Remember, that was one that we were taking a look at. I said I would like to see that trade up here, not getting that. Jay's absolutely right. This thing fading right out of the gate here.
CLRO looks like it's trying to get going here. It found some support on the 65 EMA down at the 165 area. It's trading up now, having a hard time trying to get up above 180. But that's just the movement I'm just noticing here with that one.
That so far that CPI print from this morning appears to be a sell the news event, right? We popped to those 515 highs and straight down since, down 4 points from that high. CLRO continuing to trade up here. Kalu's loving it. Yep. Kalu's loving it. Let's see if we can get above that. I had some size at 192, more size there at 195. We'll see if that $2 test is coming here. Carmen, yeah, we are definitely. I know, Carmen, you're looking at CLRO as well. 197 was that high spot, that intraday high, or that pre-market high.
It's starting to get up there.
It's starting to get up there. Let's see what happens with this size here at 195.
And there was one so TCBP is starting to get going now. That one got all the way back up to the 215 level before it got rejected. I think it got as high as 220.
CLRO backed off here. I wanted to get it down there at the VWAP, but it wasn't ready. That was silly. Let's see if we can come right back on here. Volume looking good here in CLRO. Definitely missed entry here. They actually brought in a bid above it too. Oh, yikes. You see how fast that was? That little pullback towards the VWAP. You had to be quick, but that was pretty good entry. This is what I'm trying to save myself for. Instead of trying to kind of have one of those confirming move happens and then chase the price on the way up. Here we go at 2. Bang, right through it there.
Nice.
Took it quickly. Looks like they're refilling it there. Yep, they are absolutely refilling 2. They're going to take it again. Let's see.
They're trying to get through the supply zone from after hours yesterday.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what's going on.
And TCBP, that one got up to 220 coming back in, but I think this could reload. Maybe if it holds 2. I also noticed that RGLS is coming down. It's trying to hold above the 275 level to see if that takes shape. There's some other things I was seeing too. Let me see if I can bring it up here.
Our RGLS, this almost back down to VWAP here. This is looking really good. I should have switched this a little bit sooner here. Here's TCBP that you were mentioning. This also back into VWAP here. Let's see which ones of these bounce and which ones of these kind of fade. Hopefully I play the correct one here today.
Not bad formations in these.
No, not at all. And decent volume readings as well on all of them.
Yeah, so it looks like RGLS might be one to take a trade here if we can hold these levels. It's under my VWAP at the moment.
TCBP. I had the VWAP here at 202. Yeah, I've got them in both. This is a nice move off that VWAP. TCBP, boy, I was too slow on that one. That was perfect. That was a perfect setup that you just called there, 13. Way to go.
Thanks. I wish I was in it.
Okay,
I'm looking around at other things, and I took it off my screen.
That's so. I mean, that's one of the things that's difficult about this, right? If you're constantly looking around, if you're constantly thinking and talking, you're not ready to just kind of hit a trade like I sometimes am. TCBP looks like this is trying to go here. 220, that intraday high,
and a pull.
203, still that VWAP. I got size brought in here at 218, which is interesting. I see that on my other broker. Interesting. LYT kind of falling out here. I know we talked about that one yesterday as it started to curl up. Nothing really materialized from that. Lower we go here today.
RGLS looks like it's trying to turn around here.
By the way, I am keeping an eye on Tesla, folks. Tesla down here, 173. Maybe we bounce from this 173.50 area. Nook curling, NUKK. That was one that we talked about. Looks like that dipped a little bit. Held yesterday's after hours level and now is curling. Let's see if that gets back towards that 186.
RGLS starting to get going here, but that $3 wall is it needs to get taken out. And if this volume keeps up, it could very well do that. Wiss is mentioning Kid Pick again. No, I mean, I don't mean again, but Kid Pick from like yesterday and last week.
Someone just brought in a pretty big bid there. 290 RGLS got hit and taken out.
Slowed it down though.
That size, yeah, it did. That size still there at 3. Nook reseller at 153. TCBP still holding up near that 220 high. We'll see if that moves here. TCBP looking pretty good. I'm sorry I missed that one.
I got to say, I am seeing so much red on past movers.
Because
I have a watch list. So there's a lot of red today, folks.
Well, you know what? I think it was as recently as yesterday. We talked about that. Didn't Jay bring up Hollow yesterday? Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah. Didn't Jay bring up Hollow yesterday and how this was hitting single digits, which is what he told us when that move first happened in February, early Feb, mid Feb. So this is what you see. A lot of those movers. I expect that list to be. I would say it would be a bigger data point if that list was mostly green. 13. Red to me is what we expect on some of those. You're talking about some of these smaller names, right? Not necessarily the NVIDIAs or the SMCIs.
The ones that we've been trading for the past several weeks. Yeah. I just keep those on my watch list. They just get kind of pushed further down as the new ones that we trade come out.
I think, and by the way, I think that's smart. I think you all should do that here. 218, some size here on TCBP. We'll see if that falls here. They're trying to hold this up here.
Yeah, Miles, that's a good formation.
This is interesting. Miles mentioning CLRO. Good morning, Miles. Great to see you. VWAP bounce here on CLRO. Looks like this pushed up towards what do I have there? 2
RGLS
205.
It's trying to get through 3.
Every time I take it off, it like makes a move towards 3. It's like, come on. Every time I take it off the screen, that is.
Oh man, 3 is holding up. Whew.
Yeah, there's some big size there. We're going to be right back on this though here on RGLS.
But look at how much we're whipping around. This is fun. This is a good time right here with RGLS.
Becca mentioned,
oh wow, look at that.
MDAI. Well, that's maybe coming back to the VWAP here. See what this is. Where did we go to on that spike? 324. God, you had to be quick.
Okay, so you saw that too, but yeah, I was like, wow, how did we get up there and then come all the way back in all of a sudden? That was quick.
TCBP looks like that actually took out that 220, went to 225 and came back. 207, the VWAP here, TCBP. Coming all the way back down.
It's looking like RGLS is gonna break through that 3 here pretty soon.
All right, TCBP back down to this 207 VWAP here and threw it to the downside. I'm going to try buying this pullback here and see. I got 209 on the fill. Let's see if we can pop above that here. So we can see if we can move back towards those highs. I would definitely feel better, or at least in principle, feel better buying the pullback. If it really falls out here, we'll just reassess. Here we go. Let's see if we can bounce back.
Oh, there we go with, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
RGLS.
Yeah, I'll flip to that here in a sec. Looks like I'm about to be hit here on the TCBP trade. Looks like they're bringing in blocks of stack to sell here every time it tries to push back up. The more they do that, the quicker that that I'm going to be out of this trade. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. They either got to take that stock and push this thing higher, or that stock's going to end up driving it down here. Looks like some more size added here at 215, that 225 and 220 size still remaining. So I don't think they're shifting it. Here we go to 215. This is going to be the first mile marker. Can we take this one out or not? See on TCBP. Nope. Can't do it. At least not on that first attempt. If you got
RGLS.
anything on RGLS, call it. I can't really watch it at the moment.
It's okay. It's getting hit hard after breaking through 3 again. We're coming back in now. It's down to the 275 area again. Might get the support here, so we'll see.
TCBP feeling like it's kind of losing some of that upside momentum, volume kind of contracting here. I'd love to see kind of a volume pop that would just kind of let me out of this. But we might not see that here. The entry here at 209, not terrible. Every time it comes back down, at least so far, it's kind of held that level, but it just doesn't have the juice to the upside I would hoped for out of a bounce play here.
I think you might get it later.
Yeah, I think so too, but I don't necessarily want to hold through that, right? We already talked about some of these junkier names here, you know, and what they can do.
Well, when I say later, I mean like probably in a matter of 30 minutes or something like that, maybe an hour at the most, if we can hold up these levels. But if we start coming back in, then I'd say no, that's not gonna
Yeah, I got 204 on the VWAP here in Trade the Pool, 207 in Thinkorswim. We'll see if these end up holding up. This looking like it's trying to get heavy here and maybe go lower. This breaks 2, I'm going to be out here. Phantom out, RGLS 302. Nice job.
Yep.
11% on CLRO for James. Looks like you folks are hitting it here this morning. Get some cash register rings for that. Let's go.
Oh, wow. Rum tumbling. Oracle still.
Just give me a move here, TCBP. Let me close this.
Well, it didn't get down to that level I was looking for, but I think somebody took Oracle when it was reversing after hitting 124.60, and they had a nice $5 move up. I forget who that was, but good job.
There were several people that were trading Oracle here this morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. BTAI really.
This trade sucks. I was hoping we'd get a little bit better bounce here on TCBP, but this looks done, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
It's just all about we talk about it all the time. It's just all about the volume. And when the volume dries up, you end up not getting some of these moves. We'll see we'll see if we can end up getting that to come back here.
Ryan, if you flatten your position, it's going to go.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly why I try to stay in some of these. But
I'm sorry, I had to.
No, hey, look, it's how it goes. This definitely dealing heavy. Volume not looking great here.
Yeah, I think everything that we were looking at this morning is kind of just like, okay, what's next? What are we doing now?
Yeah.
Because I'm cycling through everything, and it just the only thing that's looking really good is yes, QQQ.
Yeah, we talk, and I'll bring up the SPY here in a little bit. We talked about this potentially rolling over, looking at some of these other stocks, seeing if the market is actually rolling over or not. I'll bring that up here again. I just got to get stopped out of this trade real quick. I will, Miles. I will. I'm sorry. I'm locked up in a bad trade here in TCBP.
I'll look at it. Let's pack. Let's take a look and see what we got here. Company is trading higher after reported better than expected Q4 revenue results and issued fiscal year 24 guidance. Also, you already talked about this one.
Yeah, we looked at it already.
Sorry, I forgot. I didn't put this on my watch list. But yeah, this one's moving. Let me see something here. Is this gapping, or did this have a halt or something? No. No, it didn't.
All right. Enough messing around with TCBP. Stop right. We're going to get stopped out right here anyway. And there we go. Okay. God, it sucks. Sucks, man. I'm sorry about that. RGLS looks like this is coming back into the VWAP too, but I don't know if I trust it after what just happened there. NUKK was another one that you folks were mentioning. That actually, I'm changing the wrong chart. Sorry about that. That one actually looks fairly decent.
CLRO is trying to move back up.
Clue on that one. See, for the CLRO move, if you're already in this is where I would be selling. I got okay, this is the wrong chart, but I'm screwed up with my charts here this morning. Right, if you came up off that bottom and that curl through that VWAP, I don't know, maybe I would, or at least partial here, wait for that $2 test again for the rest of it.
Yeah, it just might be an issue of needing to wait for things to set up. Take a look at the SPY.
SPY actually trying to bounce off 511. It has been moving down to that 511 since we opened here, but we are trying to bounce now. Tesla, by the way, I told you a while ago, we'd take a look at that. Tesla moved down right out of the gate, but did slow down here. What is this, 173?
Oh.
172.50?
I bet if we looked at a daily chart, that means we would see a big rejection of 180. Let's take a look.
Diamond urging Fed not to cut rates in June. I get it. Totally get it.
I noticed that there was a lot of pricing in of no rate cuts all the way through July on the CME FedWatch tool.
We've been talking about that every day as well. RGLS breaking down throat from the VWAP here.
That's a nasty rejection at 180 yesterday from Tesla. But I think that's just because the whole market was turning down. But we're still not getting above 180, so that is a big resistance level. 180 Tesla. All right, let me go back to some of these other movers. See what we got going on here. BTAI might have found a bottom. That would be the same bottom as yesterday and after hours.
Let's take a look at that. BTAI.
It's just very slow moving.
This is the one that had. Which one was this? Was this the one with earnings this morning?
This one was
the news. Yeah, it was. The conference call. So this pretty much gave everything back from that earnings pop, which is really disappointing. SPY still bouncing here, but doesn't feel great.
Looks like CLRO.
Monica, no, it's CLRO. Oh, that is an L. It's tough for me to read on that monitor. Sorry about that. It looked like CIRO, but it's CLRO.
Yeah, Monica, we're okay with caps as long as it's tickers.
Yep. That is much easier to see when the tickers are in caps and the rest of the post is not.
Okay, so it looks like RGLS is really starting to break down here. It's come down to the pre-market demand zone. So if we fall through this, I'd expect that we get some support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, which is at about 211, 210. But that's if we can't hold up here.
I don't see any other really big movers anywhere. Let me check some of my other sources here. CLRO seems to be the big mover of the day that people are talking about.
Huh. There's a ticker called BZ. And it has nothing to do with Benzinga. What is this blasphemy?
Oh, isn't that Chinese company, BZ?
It's Kanzun.
Yeah.
I think so. It is a Chinese.
Yeah. We'll have to, if we ever go public, we'll have to get that ticker wrestled away from them.
I don't think that'll be too hard given the nature of the way they do things.
SMXT being mentioned by Lynn and Randy. This thing just really moving here. It's up 2.5 points. 3.5 points from yesterday's close.
Solar Max.
CLRO, by the way, back to the VWAP here. See if we actually break beneath it. CLRO, it has bounced off the VWAP, but each successive bounce has gotten smaller on CLRO. I feel like I've got to try something, though.
Oh, go Archer. Yeah, I like to see that. Archer's trying to get to the highs from yesterday, which is 496. It's at 493 right now. Has some a number of sell orders to get through to get to 5.
Smoke tuna, that alert on that Archer sell-off now yielding almost a full $1 of movement off those lows if you bought that.
So that's in my brain now. Bear cave short reports, buy the dip.
So Smoke Tuna says loading RGLS. So Smoke Tuna, are you looking like you're taking this here? I guess I'd be surprised looking at your 3-minute chart here. Let me know what you're seeing here, what you're loading up at. Becca mentioning LGCL. This is another mover here on good volume. My God, this looks like this has already happened.
Is DWAC coming back, Lynn and Randy? Oh wow, sure is.
Like we were saying yesterday, I know yesterday was kind of a rough day for DWAC. This is going to be worth at least taking a look at every day up until that election and maybe even after.
They double bottom from pre-market into the open, so that's a nice little pattern there. Let's see what happens if it can get to 41.30. That's the next level I have if it holds above 40.
RGLS, I would say, man, if this thing could come into 232, 233, maybe some support there. Does look like it's trying to slow down here. CLRO, man, oh man. So that VWAP test provided a great trade. This actually looking like it's trying to set some new highs here, CLRO. And I should just focus on what seems to be the strongest.
There was PAC looks like it's setting up. If we can stay above 615-ish, I think it's going to try to make a move back up through VWAP. Volume's a little bit light right now, but that could change. Something I'm watching right now.
Yeah, CLRO up at that 2 level here and through.
AI slowly coming back. If anybody's trading this, that looks like that 289 area may have been the short-term bottom. RGLS, like I think you were just talking about that, right?
Yep. Smoke Tuna said he was loading that.
Yeah, it looks like it's trying to turn around here. And CLRO really wants to go up above 205.
Lynn and Randy mentioning Costco. That spike in here. No trade setup though on Costco. If you have any ideas for a potential trade setup, I'd love to listen to it. Sure looks like this is actually going to make a move back towards that that high there. You know what? Let me actually add here. Quick cost.
I love Kalu's energy this morning.
Kalu's got energy almost every morning, it seems.
All right, what are we thinking here with RGLS? We're starting to break down some more.
Let's see. Yeah, that spot, Tuna, I know you said you were loading there. Oh, it was holding the 15-minute 9 MA. Okay. Okay, there you go. I'd actually still like to see this come down to another level here.
Yeah, this pre-market supply level.
Jeremy, one of our Twitter viewers here, bringing the heat. I already broke up there, taking the ex-girlfriend joke that you've been telling me, Tim, taking it to the next level. I like how Jeremy's taking one more step higher. Appreciate all you Twitter viewers out there, by the way. You folks are awesome. Thanks for joining us here this morning.
Now we have an ism.
There you go. Guilty Gunner saying rum TikTok deal coming. I don't know. We discussed that. That's what makes the market, though. We got people on both sides of that. Both sides. The SOUN popping, another familiar one here. Oh, my God. Look at this move off the bottom here. 590 to 650 in a hurry here, SOUN. I tell you what, this VWAP reclaim, look how it kind of slowed down there and then took that out on that VWAP. Woo.
Yeah, if it takes 650, the next level is 730.
It's definitely at a resistance area right here. Looking strong, though.
All right, RGLS, what are you going to do?
Semis like value doing a lot better than the growth. So you're looking at things like IBM versus things like NVIDIA. IBM definitely strong here today. Something like NVIDIA, that growth name, a little bit weaker. This is actually still holding on to positive, but noticeably weaker than IBM. Let's see what we can. SMCI looks very, very similar to NVIDIA. That chart, I tell you what, that chart looks the same. Oh, we got INOD moving down here to that 7 handle and on some volume too. I wonder what's going on here. This breaks beneath. Look out. That might go lower on INOD. I did take a starter down here. We'll see if another chance to add here.
Yeah, I mentioned a while, like I don't want to say a while back, but maybe like a week or two ago that it was looking like it could go lower before it goes higher. Because it's hanging out at the 500-day SMA for far too long. And it's been getting support from it. I think that it's going to eventually crack, and we'll probably have a better opportunity to load this up under 6.
RVNC here, we talked about this one. Every time that this thing has dipped under 6, buyers have really stepped in and taken it higher here. Looks like it's trying to bounce. We did exactly that here this morning on RVNC. Volume pretty light here. Costco continuing its march higher here. I did add very, very small this morning, hoping for a move back towards, like we were just talking about, that 780 level. It's hard for me, man. Costco, this is my favorite store. Wish I had more of the stock, frankly.
Looks like
Ryan has a radio voice. I will take that as a positive, Brett.
Looks like RGLS is trying to turn around here after getting support from that demand zone.
Okay, this is the same formation it was just making before it took another leg down here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take a 200 share starter right here. Did I really not get it? There we go. Yep. And now if this comes in a little bit more, instead of stopping out and waiting for it to bounce, I'll add, get a better price. I'll have a little bit smaller position to start with and see if we can get that movement back above the VWAP. We'll try a slight adjustment here and see if that provides better results. If it does, then we can maybe fold that into the process.
Well, all right. Wow, CLRO. Right up to pre-market, or I'm sorry, this is after hours. Right up to after hours highs from yesterday. So now we have a bit of a cup.
CLRO, after it took out that 2, so far has done a really good job staying above that $2 level, 224-year intraday high. Check on the Twitter streets. We got the Twitter viewers in here. Let's now check on the Twitter streets, see what they're trading. By the way, I'd love to hear what you folks are trading.
Today it's been RGLS and CLRO.
NUKK, this working itself up off the bottom. Let's see if this gets back to VWAP. Bex, I know you mentioned this one earlier.
Ryan, is RGLS working for you right now?
Is RGLS working for me? I am flat.
Okay.
The opening position there was 253. The bid is currently 253. So we're flat there.
Okay. It just looked like it started to move up. And I was curious if you were seeing some positivity there.
It is now.
Oh, here we go.
It is now. Let's see what we can do here. CLRO continuing higher here. Kalu telling me about SELX. That also moving up off the VWAP here on SELX. I actually could see this trading back. Well, we're almost there. Another 10 cents here. This spread a little bit. SELX. Ryan, in from yesterday. Okay, so that's on NUKK, right, Bex? You're in from yesterday from 112. All right, so you did hold that overnight. Man, Bex. That's some good stuff here. I know. Oh, I know you're in Arizona plus the time change. So this move up to 250 probably didn't allow you to close that there.
I took my little profit in RGLS after that move up, and it looks like it wants to go a little bit higher, but I'm just not sure because of the volume. So
yeah, I've got that VWAP here at 265 on RGLS. Looks like Seahorse, you guys are scalping that. Jay Summers, you're scalping that here. Great job there, by the way. RGLS paying our chat here.
All right, so I'm not under 7 now. What's
Sorry.
up?
I'm trying to take a screenshot and I completely botched it. Exactly, Ryan. Yeah, Bex, I understand how that can go. That can be a little bit rough there. All right, RGLS is working here, but remember, I took that position on reduced size. So I'd actually like to see this move through that VWAP. We'll see if we end up getting that. Jay mentioning Crocs. Jay, that was just an absolute monster trade of 2013 for you on Crocs. This still coming up off the bottom, it looks like. Crocs, actually, this looks like this might be trying to go even higher here on Crocs. I got the next spot here, Jay, 131. They're 4 points away. Holding that earnings gap well. I think that can actually keep moving here is also.
Yeah, RUM had it sold off and went right to the 65 EMA on a 5-minute chart, which is about the same area where this pre-market demand zone is, and it just went right back up.
RUM, maybe it can retest those highs there. RGLS being mentioned here by Phantom. Look at that. That went right to the VWAP and stopped there. They did bring in a pretty big offer here at 260. Phantom saying RGLS looks like it may run back to the 302 area from the falling wedge. So that 302 has us right in here. I'd absolutely love that. That'd be a nice move above the VWAP here if we're able to do that. That BZ ticker that you folks are mentioning, name can't be blank. Just an awesome handle here saying BZ trending nicely on earnings after some chop early. To our discussion earlier about some of those Chinese names, BZ, I think this kind of fits in there. I do like the ticker. I am a little bit partial to that. But taking a look at this here, it's a job platform, China's largest recruitment platform based on average number of monthly active users. Okay.
With the job market in China, I don't know that that's going to get a whole lot of business.
That's a good point.
PAC, P-A-C-K, looks like it might be getting ready to reverse and go up.
Here you go on PAC. I'd actually like to see this come into 6 there.
It's just a little spready right now. You got about 15-cent spread.
Sally, good morning, Sally, mentioning that Mara is bouncing here. Wow, big move, big bounce off the lows here for Mara. We talked about these being really weak. Bitcoin, actually, now that I look over, Bitcoin futures chart trading up here, 73,775. Oh, excuse me, 73,775.
Okay, so that's going to be new highs then, right? Because I think the highest we got was 72.8. Right.
CLRO maybe bouncing off of 2 here. Actually, I might try some of this as well. Oh, come on. Let's
see here. Oh, we already hit 73. We just came in. So 73,105 is the new high in Bitcoin.
Yeah, see, the futures ticker gives me a slightly different value than the one you're looking at. So whenever you ask me, especially if it's really close, I just, in my broker, I watch /BTC, CBOE futures ticker for Bitcoin. That drives the bus.
Yeah, in my broker, it's BTC USD. So
yeah, see, then it's all
price.
different. I wonder, I wonder, let me, hang on a sec. Let me see if BTCU. Yeah, see, I don't have any ticker like that, and I don't think I have BTC/USD either. No, I just have /BTC. All brokers a little bit different there, making our job even harder. RGLS, this actually breaking down here now, this going to that other area we were talking about. I got this at 232. See if RGLS got a little bit of a bid here at 240. Whoever got stopped out there. Who was mentioning that? Phantom. See if this RGLS continuing to go lower here. I'm going to try another ad here down at 232. We'll see if that holds here. Man, oh man. My day trading has been horrific this week. Swing trading still good. Actually, still green in my account here as well. Bitcoin, big pull, by the way, on that futures chart.
Yeah, we got SPY trying to come back up. Actually, I think we've made an intraday regular session high at 514. And it looks like CLRO is ready to go.
ASLN, this is a nice little chart here today. CLRO. This actually looks like this might, maybe you're right. I was looking for a pullback to that. I swear to God, I was literally changing my order size in order to buy this right down there at the VWAP, and it just moved away.
Well, it needs some more volume to expand, but it could get going here if we get that expansion.
Smoke Tuna mentioning RGLS pre-market loading level here at 230. That's what I'm waiting for here for my ad. This is why I actually took this small to start with. What I don't like here is some of the action on the tape on RGLS, right? We had a nice little pop there. Ever since that pop, we have had declining volume. We've made a break through the VWAP to the downside. We've been unable to reclaim that VWAP to the upside. Now it looks like we're rolling back over here to that 230 support level. None of that is good. We're going to need to have some good news here for this to really turn around. Don't see it yet. We'll see if we end up getting it. But so far, don't see it yet. SCLX, that continuing, Kalu. Good job on your trade. You don't need me to trade it. SCLX looks like it's slowing down here at 2.
SGLY trying to break VWAP. I don't think I have that on here.
See if RGLS takes out this bid here at 240. They might just kind of knock that out and see if they can find some firm hands here. SGLY, is that the one that you were just mentioning here? That is back up to VWAP here. Singularity Futures.
Looks like RUM's trying to set up to break over 725. So
this one actually looks like this could be kind of wild here, this SGLY. 455 has some size there. This one a little bit spready, a little bit difficult, more difficult to trade. Ari, we talked about that one earlier. That had a nice little push, broke down here, although maybe this kind of firms up down here. BEKE also on my scanner. We've taken a look at that one here before. That actually doing a good job holding higher. BEKE, this might be moving higher. And what about Oracle? We talked about it. No, Gap and Go did not work at all on Oracle. Glad we didn't even try that.
Yeah, it looks like CLRO is still trying to push higher. It wants 225.
There you go. It's going to go for that spot there.
Yeah, it's got a good amount of sell orders between 220 and 225 to get through. So just need a little bit more volume expansion. It should take those out. Just kind of scanning around.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing here. Amazon, nice little spike. Not a whole lot of volume, but decent. Costco doing a decent job holding that move up here on Costco.
PIK had a big pop over 460 and went up to 507.
Looks like that's still kind of holding in here at that 5 level.
Mm-hmm.
And UKK looks like that pulled back a little bit, but didn't keep breaking down. What I like to see there is we got a little bit of a higher low on that red candle. So maybe this can resume back towards the VWAP there and UKK.
Seeing all kinds of things that look like they're getting ready to go and they just don't. I mean, like I'm looking at DWAC right now, and it looks like this one wants to, badly get over 40, but it keeps getting rejected.
All right, let's take a look at RGLS here. This is that zone we've been waiting for. All right, Smoke Tuna, let's see here. That 230, that's what we're waiting for here, right? Actually going to put some orders out there.
CLRO broke through 225. That is doing good. Pick is moving.
CLRO really broke that top off. We'll see if we get a bounce here in RGLS. I don't feel great about it. CLRO, some size here at 230, a little bit more above at 231.
Yeah, Market Sniper. Pick was a good one.
LICY, that's actually making a good move, but that's just a penny stock. Pick this really ripping here.
Mm-hmm.
What's the float on this one?
I think it's pretty small.
Yeah, it feels that way. Just kind of looking at that. Let me get that value here for you. I got float. Yeah, it's under $1 million here. 910K on pick. Average volume is just under the float.
Yeah, this one could get slapped around easy.
Can't buy pick on my broker.
I don't know it for a fact, but Rum might, get going here. I just, it's kind of a guess. It's just an EMA crossing VWAP, so it might be a buy signal for algos, but let's just see here. 5 minutes or so. Pack not working. Went lower. CLRO 240 now.
CLRO, this has been probably the best mover of the day. Low here in the pre-market, 145. Current price 245 and going higher here, CLRO.
Yeah, I feel that too, Lennon. 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lennon Randy, pick does feel like junk. It's a kids clothing apparel kind of setup, I think.
A lot of these do. I mean, just straight up, a lot of these do feel like junk. Like I know, like the disclaimer, like I've been so advised. Okay. I know exactly that these stocks are not great. I mean, with the exception of Costco, of course. Not going to lump Costco into that.
It's a good man.
CLRO, I got to think if you guys are trading this from lower here, it's probably time to book. Probably time to book on this.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Smoking it says we only trade the junk from the trash bin. Oh man. RGLS,
Yeah.
Speaking of junk from the trash bin, let's see. Okay, we dropped down. We bought again here. RGLS, we need to turn around, my man. We need to turn around. This is right at the bottom. This is it. it's either got to do it or it's not. In fact, I'm going to not take this off my screen until I close this puppy up. Either take the loss or wait for a bounce here.
Only here,
bids under it.
Only here could we take trash and turn it into treasure.
That's what we try to do, man. RGLS, this is not looking good here.
Maybe it'll be back later in the day.
Maybe.
I'm just kind of setting some levels here for CLRO, and it looks like it's got a pretty big supply zone up ahead here. So,
taking a look at Tesla, by the way. Tesla, this maybe came off that bottom here. We got about 5 points for this to get back to balance, 4 points if we end up doing that. Tesla, nice. What is this? Nice. It is a $2 move off the bottom yet again. Lynn and Randy, you've been talking about trading Tesla for those $2 moves back and forth. You got it again here today. Already you've got that. And this actually might go some more. We'll see.
All right, let's see here. So yeah, I'd expect CLRO to kind of come back in. It just hit a resistance level at 248.
CLRO volume looking really good here. That's telling the story. We were just talking about how, and Seahorse Trading here saying RGLS hurting for volume. Indeed. And the opposite is true here on CLRO. This has got the volume. Look what it's doing.
I'm going to take a stab at RGLS at 215.
Okay.
See what happens. All right. Watch, it sees my buy order down there and goes, oh, nope, we ain't going there.
Hey, at this point, I'd take it.
MDAI, it looks like it's trying to put in a reversing candle.
Where's my mouse? Oh, my God.
DWAC still wants 40. Excuse me.
MDAI, you're right on that. That might be bottoming. CLRO, this is still looking like this has got some more juice here.
Yeah, I mean, it could go through that and go up to 3.
Look at this. It's going right back. This is going right back to the highs.
Good job, Kalu. Just handled CLRO.
Yeah, this is great. It's the volume. Like, this is exactly what I was hoping for on the bounce play that I'm not getting. Getting it in a different name here. I just picked the wrong one again. It's just been rough. Been rough.
Okay.
The VKTX has a setup on the 1 hour.
Let's take a look.
It's like maybe that bottom is in on VTKX. You know, what's interesting about this one too is that is almost a pullback to the bottom of the wick on that candle on the daily chart. So we had talked about that. Let me actually bring this up here on an easier to see chart. Talk about that real quick. VKTX. Here's the one that I'm looking for. Okay, so we talked about the potential floating island trade here. You love to see these stocks come in towards the bottom end of the island, which is exactly what we're seeing. Now let's see if we can actually firm up and bounce here and go to the top end of the range. That would put us close to $100 and maybe even a potential breakout. So looking at like 35 points here if this holds up. Want to see how this candle closes today. I think if this closes here today, we might be giddy up for the next leg up here.
Looks like
CLX. Look at this one here. This continuing. This took another pop here out of that area. Kalu, man, you are hot.
I'm gonna celebrate
Morning Voodoo. He should celebrate with Kahlua. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Sometimes I just say what comes to my brain, even if it's not the greatest. Looks like VKTX does want to go higher. It might pull back in a bit, but I don't think it'll pull back in too much. If it does, it might just end up going right now. All right, almost down to my 215 level in RGLS. Looking to pick some up there and have it reverse. Let's see if that's a good call or not.
We shall see. So far, this stock has shown no strength since I bought it. Zero. I am the kiss of death for some of these small junky stocks. As soon as I buy them, they dry up.
Rum looks like it wants to move over. What is this, 725?
Yeah, the rum does look like it's trying to break out here. And that spot, I've got that at 726 technically. But I mean, we're right here. We're right on that breakout spot.
All right.
INOD, volume candle took it below 7. Not looking good on INOD.
Yeah,
not looking good on INOD, folks.
No, I mean, if you look at the daily on INOD, you can see that 500 has been trying to keep it up for the longest time, and it's just going to fail.
Yeah, this looks like this is going lower here.
All right. Give me a fill. Don't you do this to me and not, there we go. Okay, got filled on RGLS.
Okay.
Let's see if we can start to bid up here now. In the meantime, we're still watching Archer kind of do some sideways consolidation. DWAC still wants 40. Rumble getting rejected. What's going on here? MDAI had a pop up to VWAP and it came back in. Anybody seen anything? ICU?
I got nothing.
Ken, no, I'm not saying I see you. I'm saying Ken Basil is saying I see you.
Oh, I see. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, Wisdom. I know. I saw that news. That was kind of strange, wasn't it? About the former Boeing employee.
I saw that too. So full disclosure, let's actually talk about that. Full disclosure, I'm not sure what to make of that. I kind of want to take RGLS off the screen. This has been awful. This is a bad trade that continues to get worse in RGLS. I tell you what, man, might have to just take a day trading break and just act as an alerter here. It's been awful. I mean, my percentage is really, really bad. I just cannot seem to buy the right stock. Really, really frustrating me. All right, BA. We had this news here really, really concerning. There was, I guess, a whistleblower found dead in a parking lot. Was what I saw.
I didn't read everything, but I read that it was supposed to be they said it was self-inflicted.
Yeah. Yep. Here, let me find it. Here. I had it here earlier this morning.
Rumble back up to 725. I can't help but feel, and I don't know if this is going to be the case or not, but I can't help but feel that this thing is going to pop out over 725. Just can't help that feeling.
Which ticker?
That would be Rum.
Not find anything. Oh, I'm having a rough morning here, 13. I'm sorry, man. I am sorry. Frustrated. Very, very frustrated. That tells me, as far as trading goes, that tells me I should probably button it up a little bit. Don't try to trade frustrated. That's how you make problems worse. I've already made my problems worse here today. I'm going to try to find that article. This is going to bother the shit out of me, man.
No worries. In the meantime, I'll just mention how CLRO got up to 248, and that, which is a level I have, and got rejected, and we're coming back in. But I think it's not done. The volume in this one's been really good, as we've been mentioning earlier. But it does look like it's going to cool off a bit, and if it can hold VWAP, we might have some more room to go over 250. Still waiting for RGLS to turn around off of 215.
So this is why I'm sorry this took so long. I know we're not even really talking about it anymore, but I just wanted to mention it at least on Boeing. Story here. I know we used to talk about Boeing quite a bit. We used to take a look at its daily chart, blue chip stock here. All that stuff is still true, but man, oh man, these problems that are going on at this company are starting to get worse and worse. A retired Boeing quality control engineer described as a company whistleblower was found dead in his truck in the parking lot of a South Carolina hotel after he failed to show up for the second part of his testimony in a lawsuit against the company. I mean, Look,
That's not
I'm not,
suspicious.
yeah, I'm not trying to fan conspiracy theories here. I'm not trying to make things worse, but man, that is bad. Like bad. The optics of that are horrific.
Yeah.
Right before he was supposed to testify again.
Kind of makes you not want to fly,
Something's going
huh?
on. Yeah, it does. I hate to say that, but yeah, it does. I mean, we're seeing stories of planes having to make emergency landings. I saw a story over the weekend which some newly hired pirate tried to make a 90-degree turn off of a runway and sunk the plane into the
Oh yeah.
oh my, I mean, it's like, what on earth is going on in this country? What's going on? Like, I mean, I fly everywhere for work. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm seeing plugs blow out of planes, whistleblowers for quality control being killed in a parking lot. I mean, it's just like, at some point, man, we need to start getting some good news. We're not getting any of that. Not getting any of that. I'm sorry for my rant.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start buying tickets with Airbuses.
I mean, I wouldn't even fault you if that's what you wanted to do, honestly. SGLY, you guys mentioned that. I'm sorry it took me so long to do that. We are breaking out. We traded above the VWAP here. Looks like this is moving.
CLRO came back down. We're close to VWAP, so that's sort of more or less the move I was looking for, but didn't want to see it that violent. So let's see if it holds VWAP. RGLS slowly moving off of 215, so that's working for the moment. I do have a stop out, so if that suddenly comes back down, it's going to stop me out. But it's, I'm up 5 cents right now. So we'll see what happens. VKTX looks like that one's probably going to, I mean, it has a good setup. It's, don't know if it's going to, pop and rip or not, but it's got a decent setup.
I want to see where that candle closes. I'd take a longer approach. By the way, SPY bouncing hard off that 511 level. 515 prints now on the SPY.
I wonder what the reason for that was. Couldn't be that Supreme Court news. Fed seen cutting by June. I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't either. We'll see on those rate cuts. All right, 13. I'm going to put up RGLS here real quick. We'll see if this continues to bounce. I'm going to be right back. Give me 1 sec. Hold the fort down for us.
So Market Sniper, you're mentioning Hollow. Is that one back? Lynn and Randy, you got to say the name. Okay. So we have a nice pop all of a sudden. What was it? Is there a catalyst on this or news? Or what's going on with Hollow? Let's see what we got here. No, don't see really any news. Is it just the market's that bored and it's decided, well, let's bring back some of these older stocks we used to trade that were crazy, and here we are. So for Hollow, 575 is the next level to the upside that I have. If we keep getting that volume like we did 5 minutes ago, we could definitely get there. I'm just going to rotate around and see what else is happening here. So PAC still kind of hanging out there, looking for that one to turn around. PACK. RGLS slow moving off of that 215, but maybe I should raise my stop a little bit. What else? MDAI kind of sideways, but it's making higher lows, so that's pretty good. Color you're mentioning, Sound and CCC C4. I'll take a look at SOUN.
I'll bring it up here.
Okay. Okay, so that one kind of came in from the high of 644, trying to make its way back up there again. 650 is the next level I have to the upside on that one. Might have a hard time getting there, though. I see a lot of sell orders between here and 650. What's Nancy doing is what we should peek. Oh, Pelosi. Yeah. If you want to follow her, that's all up to you. Wow, look at Amazon go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, look at Amazon here today. Volume looks good too. This is what I mean. I still have that butterfly on in my swing account. That is working.
Wisdom, that's an interesting comment. War by June if we get any cuts, in my opinion. So, because that would help, fund the government for, wartime. Because right now I don't think they want to start raising money at these rates. I think that's what you're kind of getting at, right? And then there was another one I was going to look at, CCC, C4. Okay. Volume's not great, but it's, it's moving up. What happened to it yesterday where it just spiked almost all the way to 1150?
Oh, look at Hollow. Look who's back.
We were just talking about it. I'm waiting for my name to show up. Okay, so there it is, 575. It got up there. Maybe this one goes to 725 now, because that's the next level I have, and this thing is wild. So maybe
look at Hollow. Holy smokes, she's back.
She's back.
She's back. Hollow, Jolo, YOLO.
This is Dorothy. She's flying, baby. She's flying.
All right,
we're going
Hollow's
green.
Back. We're gonna have some fun.
Oh man. Every time I see stuff like this, just Twister one-liners come back in my mind.
God, that movie, man.
We're going
that
green.
5 tornado can push an egg through a barn door, 2 if one of them's open. I mean, it's loaded with good ones. It's loaded. They don't make movies like that anymore. I'll tell you that much.
Oracle looks like it may have found a bottom. It's curling up, trying to stay above VWAP, or at least my VWAP at the moment. Yeah, RGLS just kind of doing things right here. Let's see. I think somebody was hanging out.
Doing things. What's it doing? Nothing. Is the thing.
Just kind of doing things. Just sitting there doing things.
There is a bid there at 218, which I guess is great, but we've seen those bids get absolutely whacked on the way down.
Yeah, they Pac-Man out of there, and that's it.
Yeah.
Hollow is halted. What do you know?
Celex is another huge, just as this was a huge move. This was a good call by Kalu earlier. Hollow popped into a halt here.
Becca, Ryan, they remake movies like that. That's absolutely true. Hollywood's so out of ideas.
Yeah, they are. They're really struggling.
What's the movie that won the Academy Awards a couple of days ago? Oppenheimer, right?
Oh, I don't watch the award shows. That's a waste of time.
It's fun for me, and it's just something that my parents and I used to do a long time ago. So I still catch it.
Mine too.
And you know what? It's interesting too, because this one felt like Hollywood's broken. Like they can't get their political identity politics pushed out there anymore. Like it feels like they felt a little bit broken in that award show. They were very careful about saying things. Some things not, but other things they did. So I think that Hollywood may be a little bit broken on that front, which is good. We don't need that anymore. Anyway,
RGLS, I think we're done here, folks. I think we are done. Yeah. We broke down again here on RGLS.
Yep. Next, I mean, it's going through after hours demand right now. And the next spot for this one that I think could bounce at would be about 180. So.
Yeah, we're going to take a loss in this one again here today. Man, oh, man.
C4 kind of rising. Yeah. There's that move in Rumble. Finally had that move.
Yeah, I'm going to close this here. It looks like that 2 is going to fall. Oh, man. Sorry about that. Horrific trade, RGLS. Yeah, I might have to just kind of back off some of this day trading stuff. I don't have it. 13, you've been absolutely killing it. Thank God one of us is actually making money here. The swing trades have been great. I'm having another great day in my swing account. But the day trading is just, it's so bad. It has just been so bad. I just gotta back off of it for a little bit.
It hasn't been the greatest, especially.
It hasn't. Yeah, it's been awful. It's been awful. I hit one good trade last week. I hit AISP twice on the same day.
Yeah, I got stopped out of RGLS as well.
Yeah, so just really rough. I'm gonna start day trading less here and start looking for a little bit better setups with some of the swings. That my percentage is better. It's just better on my day to day. We'll make some adjustments here.
Oh, that's
been tough.
That's perfectly, actually, I think that's great because I think I suck at swing
trading. Yeah. Here's the thing. So Jane's saying here, when mine goes south, I just trade tiny lots. I'm already there. I'm already trading tiny lots. I mean, I just took a $120 loss here or $130, whatever it was in RGLS. Not the end of the world, right? Not thousands and thousands of dollars. but it's the frustration of being wrong every time you trade that's really starting to wear on me. It's not so much the actual value here. I'm already on reduced size. Like, what am I going to do? Reduce to 50 shares a share? I mean, it's just been extremely frustrating, just the performance. A lot of these names, I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, well, Ryan, you're just trading the shitty names. You're just trading junk. Get used to it. It's like, dude, there have been years where I've made more money trading those names than the quality names. Totally get it. Try trading some of the bigger names. That's what I'm going to do. And actually, in the swing account, that is what I'm doing, and that's where I'm making money. I'm trying to give you guys content every single day. I'm trying to tell you what's moving. I'm trying to show you what's moving. And it's just my own process is just not working. It just isn't. I don't know what to say. 13, you're doing a great job on it. You're doing a great job on it.
I appreciate that, but don't worry. I do have losses too. You know, there are days where things just don't work out.
Yeah.
And so I just have to take those losses and I just be like, okay, well, tomorrow's another day. Let's see if we can get anything there. And that happened a lot to me in 2021. So I wasn't trading a whole lot in 2022. I think you remember that. I was just kind of sitting on my hands, letting those longer term positions, work out. And they worked out really well. Those longer term positions, 1 year or longer holds, those were awesome.
Yeah.
My day
so
trading
any time that I've come up with a trade plan where I've designed holding as part of the process, I've actually done fairly well. I'm trying to think of the last stock that I really took a beating on. I mean, I guess you could argue Portillo's, but I still have that. I haven't actually booked a loss on that. But it's as far as like swings, yeah, most of them have been really, I guess some of the option trades, right? Those expire worthless. Those are a little bit more of a gambly feeling. Easy, Mike. I love that. Try rubbing your belly and tapping your head, and then try tapping your head and rubbing your belly. I don't know if that's going to help.
I just got a fill.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Sam saying it's only money. Well, that's the other thing, is that I'm doing this in such a way where the amounts of money that we're talking about is not going to break me. I think zoomed out from a process perspective here, you never want to gamble or trade with money that you absolutely need. And so to Jane's point about reducing position size, that's one way to make sure that you don't really take a beating. But again, it's not the actual monetary value that I'm down that's bothering me. It's the percentage that's bothering me. And I feel like if I continue to do this here, especially in front of a group, like, look at that. I'm telling you guys, I'll just throw this out there again. I'm leaving the door open to any of you. If any of you want to jump on here, share your screen and trade live in front of the group, try it. I'm telling you it's harder than it looks. Open door. Shoot me an email. You want to give it a shot? Let me know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Jane, Ryan, just buy hollow today. Oh, that's funny.
You know, it's going to be even funnier is if that's good advice, because if that thing goes up to 10.
So Jay, giving you something great here. Confidence is huge in trading in the zone. There's an entire book on this. This is absolutely factual. And so as far as that confidence, here's the great part about this confidence. The things that I'm doing on like a longer term basis, I feel great about. Even though I was bearish on the overall market as it continued to trade up, I still did a really good job identifying the right stocks to trade and then positioning myself so I wasn't really hurt. And that's worked for me. That's actually given me confidence. That's why I'm still doing it here. Swing trade's been rocking. I'm actually doing pretty well. That's why I'm talking about kind of toning down the day trading, because that just simply isn't working. It just isn't.
Zim is really going now.
SGLY getting mentioned here. I'm sorry, I'm not moving around as much. That is breaking out here.
Yeah, easy, Mike. He's got it right. You're the setup man, Ryan.
Well, look, if that's what I can do to help out, that's what I'll do. But I got to dial something back here. That there's just, like I said, I don't know how else to say it. Like, the day trading is just, it's driving me insane. Yeah, man. You have a couple of bad trades and it makes you gun shy. Dude, this is something that I've been experiencing from the beginning. And I'll tell you something else. The worst thing that happened to me when I started trading, my first 3 months, it was like gangbusters. I felt like I couldn't lose. I was like, oh, I got my new career. And then all of a sudden you go through a rough patch and it's like, oh, you need time to get humbled a little bit. Reverse Ryan ETF. We got to pull out the Jim Cray. By the way, did you see that SGIM thing got shut down?
Did it really?
Yeah. There was no, it doesn't exist anymore. Now, LGIM, which I believe was the long one, that doesn't exist anymore either. So it wasn't just the short one that got shut down, but nobody traded those. I don't think they had the volume to make it worth it.
I mean, I don't think I'd want to be on either side of his trades. I just don't even want to watch him. I don't think he makes, I don't think he makes good good calls. Yeah, I see. Sorry, I just started looking over at Happy Hour chat and I started talking as if Zoltan's in the chat here.
Zoltan might be. He likes to join us a lot.
Well, if he is, I mean, he's saying that Zim is climbing slowly, and it sure is.
Jay Rice. That's funny. That's actually really funny. Voodoo, Ryan, for example, I traded Snow today. Trade wasn't working. I got out for trade wasn't working, got out for a 751 profit. That worked. 10 minutes later, it took off. You still got out with a gain, dude. Come on.
Well, I think the point is that his plan that he had, he left before he allowed it to work. And I think that was the point. I got what he's saying. Like, yeah, we've had so many of those. I've had so many of those where I'm just like, this isn't looking great. I'm just going to get out of this.
And look at RGLS. I sold at the dead bottom. Sold at the dead bottom on 2. Yeah. Look at that.
Well, it's not like this is coming back.
I don't have words. Like, first of all, this trade didn't work. We were first talking about buying this in the 250s, guys. So the fact that this has come up to 220 from 2, it's not working yet. This stock has been awful today. Okay, awful. The trading action on this has been awful. If it gets above that VWAP, we'll see. I'll really look like an idiot. If that's what you guys want, that's what we'll take a look at. No problem.
Looks like PAC is coming back now, finally. Trying to get back up to VWAP. MDAI also back up to VWAP. Some of these are starting to curl now, so there could be some potential trades forming in these. Hollow still holding above VWAP, so that's interesting.
That hollow one, I think we're going to be in trouble on that one. I think that's going to give some more people some fits.
I wouldn't surprise me a bit if this went to 10 today. It would not surprise me at all, given how this market is trading today, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of great things to trade at the moment. I'm sure that people algos and retail are just going to start piling into some of the names that they know they can get to move, and then just see what happens. Oh man, Zim is just a beast right now. I love it.
Looking around here for some other stuff. See if I find anything for you.
Sally is mentioning OPRA.
Okay.
Look at that. Opera Limited. One second. Gotta refresh.
This is actually a nice little bounce here, OPRA.
Okay. What is the news on this one? Okay, so this one came down to, I don't even know what level I consider this. I'm not sure what does this come down to exactly 15 and then just turn around?
Looks like it. I had that low print here at 1501. See if that candle actually printed 15. No, 1501. 1 cent above.
Yeah, now we're coming up to a bit of a supply zone here, so it's either going to make a big move through it or get rejected.
Whoa, look at Lex today.
Uh-oh.
Remember this stock we were talking about trading? This was one of those GLP-1 oral formulations. This thing was right around $6.50. We lost 2.5 points off this already here.
What's the story with this?
I don't see any news on this. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Got nothing fresh here.
No.
Last thing I had was a positive PR from last Thursday. Got nothing going on here on Lex. This just looks like maybe a regression back to the mean here.
Well, I will look and tell you in just a second, Market Sniper, because yeah, I've been looking at some of those older ones and they've been getting picked up a bit.
Jay, you like rum longer term here? Them getting into the cloud business? Do you like them? I should add. That was a question, not a statement.
AVAV has been selling off since it made new all-time highs of 188. Been selling off. It looks like it might be finding a bottom just under 160 here. So I don't know if we can call that an old girlfriend because I don't think we traded it on the show, but it's something I've been watching and I want to end up getting into for a long-term position.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind this as kind of like a longer term position. I've never really traded this before. I kind of watched this, maybe took like a couple of cursory trades years and years ago when the company was completely different. But I'm with you on that. For longer term here, I'd actually like this one.
Because I think it's probably the best drone play on the military side. I think that there is. Market Sniper, I noticed that Coke, COCH, is up 6%, but it's very slow moving. So not really sure there.
No volume today, COCH. None.
No volume in a lot of things today, to be honest. I know that we talked about, or maybe even traded APGE at one point. That one had a nice move up to 71.80, and it came back in afterwards. Now it's trying to move back up slowly today. So that could be another old girlfriend. I know Soundhound is obviously an old girlfriend, and that one's about to take out 650 that we have as a level.
I wonder if SOUN goes back up towards the top here.
Voodoo, that was AV.
Recent top.
Yeah, it was AV. We started talking about this one right after the Ukraine-Russia war started. And because there was an article mentioning the types of drones that that are getting purchased by the U.S. government, they're Switchblade drones, and since then the stock's been amazing. I mean, it came back in and then went right back up. So. But yeah, some of I guess the girlfriends are staying away for now.
I don't see anything on Twitter.
Yeah, Pack is curling. RGLS still kind of curling. Really like how ACHR is just really moving up. Thank you, Bear Cave. AISP, which is airship. This one's just been, up and down all day. So if you might be able to find, what is this? Maybe some just 20, 30 cent trades in there if you want to trade that. If it keeps doing the same price action where we go down and then up.
I'm just looking around here. Didn't find anything.
What's the broader market looking? AV has been around for a long time. Yeah, absolutely.
Broader market is just ripping. Market does not care. That news you talked about no rate cuts this year, market does not care. It either doesn't care or doesn't believe you.
Well, I mean, Andy from Happy Hour, he brought up probably one of the best points I've heard. Is that the market will probably sell off as soon as we start getting rate cuts, because there'll be big rotation out of all the names that are propping this up, the Mag 7, and they'll all be rotating into the rate dependent names. Utilities, REITs, probably solar stocks will come back. Maybe even see some of these a lot of the IWM stocks that really need to raise more cash but don't want to do it at these rates start to come back. So you could see rotation out of the market and the IWM could probably do really well.
Ian's asking, may I ask you guys, what
we
you
scan.
guys scan your guys' stocks on. And you're asking what our scanner settings are. Yeah, the scanner, I'll let 13 answer that. My scanner here for this day trade, the one that's really just not working at all, is relative volume.
Yeah.
Right. Intraday relative volume too. It doesn't actually have to wait for the entire daily candle to close. We're comparing the 5-minute window that we're currently in to the 5-minute windows in the past, and then getting an average volume for that. So relative volume is what my scanner, the crux of my scanner is. And more specifically, it's looking for moves that are popping to the upside.
Yeah. And I believe I have the same scanner you do. I think the same settings as well.
Okay.
So we're looking for the same kind of movement.
I was going to say it makes sense while we're always seeing the same names pop up. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So getting a little curious here with Zim. It's starting to put in some dojis, and if we get this, if we don't start to move up through 1170, then I'm probably going to take a little bit of profit here in Zim.
Okay, let's take a look here at Zim. I know this is one that we talk about and get asked about quite a bit here.
Yeah, and they have their earnings tomorrow morning.
I would love to actually be able to. I mean, this this is only a 50 share swing position. Yeah, I never added when this was lower. I should have added when we came down to that 100.
Kalu is back in CLRO, and Glendy is mentioning Beamer. So there's another old girlfriend.
CLRO would really need to get above the VWAP here. We'll see on that one. Beamer, BMR.
Mm-hmm.
That one popping here and moving away from that VWAP.
Yeah, it looks like CLR went back up to VWAP and got rejected. The volume doesn't look great in CLR or RGLS, so those are probably off the radar for the moment. Yeah. Maybe they'll be back later. Hollow, I think, is still going to try to break through 725 at some point here. Rum is, man, I should have bought that consolidation, but I missed it, so oh well. Can't get hung up on things that I didn't do. Pack's still moving up. Oh, hey, Jason.
Hey, Jace. How's it going? Jason mentioning ON, not a good day for that. Jay Rice actually mentioned this one earlier as well. ON, of course, reported earnings here. The good news here on ON is we really haven't broken down any further. We've really kind of held up. If you look at the daily chart, I know it's tough to see. You can go to a bigger one here if you want to take a look at that. Well, we really kind of traded into this support area that we've held. In fact, let me get it pro up here. Let's see if we can't take a look at that spot.
I wonder why their EPS was so low compared to the estimate. It must be margin compression or something like that.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Don't know why that EPS was so low. Let's see what the chart looks like.
Here we go. So you can see here, ON. Look at this sell-off that we made right into this consolidation area. So this can hold. Maybe if we trade down here and hold that 500-day, you could have a trade on your hands here. Now, 13's point about the EPS looking rough. Yeah, miss on the top and the bottom line here. Kelsey Advisory Group reiterating and outperforming, giving a $37 price target here this morning. I'd like to see some more of those. You know what would be great on ON if we actually got some of the analysts to capitulate on this and the stock didn't sell off anymore. That would tell me we're probably ready to turn back up.
Yeah, and so on is
here you go though. Jay saying no desire to buy names that miss on earnings here unless they can really remember the PanW trade, right? I mean, unless you have some other type of catalyst that's going to hold you in there, I'm with you on that one, Jay. Not in this environment.
Yeah, and this is an apparel company, right? That's what I'm getting from the description. Is that
don't they make the shoes?
Yeah, and I guess some other stuff
likes
too. So I guess that's not really in favor too, since we have thoughts of the consumer tightening their checkbook, right?
Yeah. These are the big thing here is the sneakers, as Jay was saying. Yep.
All right. Well, I'm not sure about that.
Stick around in about 5 minutes. We do have the option show coming up with Anne-Marie. Really excited for that. We're going to cover some of those multi-leg option positions and option trades. We got a few more minutes to finish off this round here. Oh, by the way, whoever was asking about the scanner earlier, this is it. So, and if you folks ever have questions, especially while we're here on this show, about how you can use Pro or what some of the different things in Pro are used for during the day, I'm happy to answer that. If you folks ever wanted to take a look at my scanner settings, and maybe I'll even zoom in a little bit here. This is them. We're basically just looking for volume that's liquid enough to get in and out of the trade. Like I said, the crux is going to be that intraday relative volume, that 5-minute scan versus the 30-day average. And then also the change percent. Again, I'm looking for stocks that are trading to the upside. I'm not as interested in stocks that are breaking down. But if any of you folks ever will have any questions about Pro or what it can do, I am here for you. Phantom. This is an interesting comment here. I like that your Pro scanner gives pre-market. I can't believe how many scanners out there don't work in the extended sessions. And even 13, remember when we were talking to Andy about his old Goldman Sachs product that would help him identify stocks trading on momentum by counting the number of highs and lows? So we actually added that here in Pro. In fact, it's on the screen here. The craziest thing to me about this is that in all these years, the Goldman Sachs product doesn't work in the after hours or the pre-market. So Andy's actually extended his trading time by using our software in those markets there. So good to hear that, Phantom.
Yeah, and if you join us on our happy hour program, and you subscribe to Benzinga, that's you have the opportunity to field your changes you'd like to see or things you'd like to see in Pro, and if there's something that, with the scanners you'd like to see done. We'd love hearing about that stuff.
Plus, I bring the devs on, right? Like, what other company can any of you folks think of another company that gives you access to talk to the actual developers doing the work? I don't know of any others.
None comes to mind.
I guess there's one. Battle State Games, the creators of Escape from Tarkov, will occasionally do a Twitch stream where they will answer questions from the community. So I guess technically that would be one. But as far as some of these programs here, like I don't know anyone else that does that. Our developers really care about what you're looking for.
Y'all hating ICU? I mean, let me take a look at it. I don't know anything about it. Oh,
Lynn, that's going to be tough. You're talking about the recent menu here. You want more than 10. To me, that seems like a setting. I mean, I don't want that straight up, just to kind of show you how people can have different needs. I would not want this to be any more than that. This covers up already a large portion of the screen. I don't want to waste any more screen real estate. To me, this actually seems like a setting. I will go ahead and add that to our discussion board, however.
All right.
What do you see in 13?
Oh, nothing. Just that it's 11 a.m.
Yeah, we are just about there. Okay, we're going to head over to the option show with Anne-Marie. 13, I really appreciate it here today. Good stuff. We'll see what else we can find in terms of other moves the rest of this week. Any closing thoughts here on the day?
Protect your capital, folks. It's not looking like we have a big volume day.
Always, always, always protect your capital. All right, 13. I'll see you on happy hour, my man. Good stuff.
No, not today. Tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will see you on live trading here tomorrow. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye,
Take
folks.
care of yourself, 13. All right, 13 leaves us. Great job. Smash up the like for my guy, 13. He's absolutely awesome. Done a really good job following some of these movies here and trying to make sense of what we see every day. 13 leaves. That leaves room for Anne-Marie. Let's go ahead and bring her on. Anne-Marie, how you doing here today?
Doing great. Calling in from Chicago.
Oh, you're in Chicago. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You're in my stomping grounds. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. So what did you want to take a look at here today?
So today we've got something pretty interesting going on with Boeing, right? And so Boeing has got a lot of institutional ownership, and it's had a fair bit of motion pulling back into frontline support. And so there are a couple of things that we could really do taking a look at this in a short-term measure. And so what we could see is this dip down into that area that you have in October / November, where the pre-market lows, and then, have a peek at that and go, let's assume that it overshoots that low just a little bit, and then it tries to recover. And so a couple of other things I noticed. I saw a stat that said the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA of this chart are within 1% of each other. That also being said, that you can see sort of a press down into, you've got your RSI there. You see how low it is at those 20 levels. Here's what we notice about this stock. When it comes into this zone, it begins to try to put in some sort of floor. Now, the first time that it did it back in September of last year, or the beginning of October of last year, it bounced, but it didn't hold a ton of traction. At the end of October, by then, that RSI had lifted off of the floor of those motions and gave us sort of a divergent pattern. And that said, you know what, time to pick up some long action into the old resistance zones. So that's the thought that I have framing out here in this chart. And I wanted to give us a little bit of time to do it. But before that, I wanted to talk about how you find stocks that you want to trade from an option space. And so the first thing I would say is, listen, you want it to have a lot of volume. So if you open up a chain, do you want me to open up my chain?
Yeah, if you don't mind sharing your screen for that options chain, that would be great.
Absolutely.
And, while you're doing that here, I know we were talking about Boeing because it seems to be in the news a lot recently, sometimes for the wrong reasons. Let me ask you, I know that you're given very specific things here on the chart that you're looking for. Is there do you factor that news into your decision-making on with what's going on here? Or is this purely based off the chart that you're taking a look at?
Just purely based off of the chart. What I do know is, oh, wow, what's going on here? Edge.
Oh, sorry.
Whoops, no worries. It's telling me I have to quit and reopen. That's just the worst. Okay. Let me see.
I can handle that for you if you wanted to do that. It's asking you to leave the stream and come back?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to try that real quick?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, no problem. Give that a shot. We'll have Anne-Marie back. Hopefully we can bring up that Thinkorswim screen. I will say Thinkorswim sometimes gives me problems as well when it comes to sharing some of that stuff or any of that. Hopefully we'll be able to work through that here. The one thing we just talked about Boeing in the last show here, I'm curious to see how you structure this trade, because for me, this is tough. This is a battle. Effectively for me. I do like the stock. I do like the company. I love the fact that it's got government contracts. I love the fact that it's a good American company, but the news right now has me pretty scared. It is not ideal. It's not as if planes are falling out of the sky, but just a lot of the news surrounding Boeing really just kind of has me nervous. Now, when we take a look at the actual chart here, I wanted to confirm with Anne-Marie that these were the EMAs that she's looking at. I think that they are, because these are almost stacked on top of each other and normally are not like that. In fact, you could see that the last time that the 50 moving average crossed beneath the 200, this is the EMA, the price actually went lower. We'd be looking for the same thing here. I wonder if Anne Marie is going to mention that when she comes back here on the setup. Maybe a test of 180, excuse me, maybe even an overshoot down to the 176, 177 level. For me on Bowen here, I wanted to see this really kind of trade back up. I really wanted to see this retake 300. I thought if we were able to trade into this mid 350s range, we'd be in real good shape here on Boeing. Never, ever materialized. It actually looks like this thing wants to roll over and test some of these new lows. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm taking a look at here on Boeing. Trying to think what else we're taking, or what else we can kind of deduce from this. Anne Marie's point about the RSI here, well taken. The one thing that we've seen, or the one thing that I think is notable about this battle in here, is that the bounce that we really get, like the big move that we really want to capture, we actually don't get that until the RSI is above that middle channel, above that 50 area. That's going to be this middle line in here. A lot of the times when we start to play some of these stocks here for the bounce, you do kind of come off the bottom. I know when we're doing some of the intraday trading here, it's a little bit different. But when you're looking at longer time frames here, you really don't get that big bounce move until the RSI also cooperates. So I want to ask a follow-up question about that. RSI did stay overcooked here a little bit until we really kind of came back in. All right. So again, sorry about the technical issues. I am trying to get Anne Marie back as fast as I can here. Hopefully we'll be able to get that resolved. Voodoo, good to see you again. Are you looking at the 176.25 support area? Yes. So you were asking her about this area. This is what she was referencing as those October lows, I think she called them. October, November lows right in here. That is the exact area that she was referencing. Now, the good news about that area is that should actually provide some really good support. This was a previous resistance area and support area. So it looks like we're just going to kind of go back there and test it. Again, if you look even more to the left here, you can see we actually bounced off that same area twice before finally losing it. On the way back up, we actually used it as resistance before finally taking it out. So this actually looks like a really critical level here that she's identified. All right, Anne Marie, welcome back.
So sorry about that.
No problem.
All right.
We're pros here. We understand technology often doesn't like to cooperate with us. Looks like it's working now, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of reasons, just like you said, the news has been atrocious for these guys. And what I like to say about Boeing is that it's a heartbreaker, no matter who's trading it. If you're long, it's a heartbreaker. If you're short, it's a heartbreaker. And it's because it always follows these very interesting rhythms, right? And so one of the key events that we're seeing, and I hope that you could see this on the screen area, is that really since essentially 2021, it's been landlocked in this area. It's got a tremendous amount of institutional ownership. And way back here, where it gave us this double bottoming formation, if you can see my screen, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. This double bottoming formation really gave the chart a shot to move up and rotate higher. Now, I use something called a linear regression channel, and you can see it. It's just like a literal channel sitting right here. And it tells us that Boeing's been losing steam for a bit, but this is a great big area that it's been sitting in. And even if it loses 172, which it had in these other areas, it immediately began to bounce, like within a week to 2 weeks. And so this brings me to a space where I say, okay, I don't know whether it's going up or down, and I don't know how far it's going to go up or down, but I know where key areas of support are, and I know that from a resistance perspective, I still have that 215 area. That's a trouble spot. So my momentum, I love using a delta momentum oscillator. This oscillator is very low right now. The last time it showed this on a weekly basis, it had a V-shaped bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Times before that, V-shaped bottom, V-shaped bottom. Here, it's bouncing into negative trend. And so here, because it's a little bit sideways, I expect it's going to rise. So if I have all these constraints, it's kind of hard to just go long or short the stock, right? So the key thing to do is, can I position so that if it moves up, I make money. If it moves down, I make money. If it does nothing, I make money. Now, that the trade-off there is that you're not going to run 10x on something, right? The risk-reward rubber band in trading is always a slider. More risk, likely more reward. Less risk, likely less reward. And we are looking at less risk, but lots more opportunities to make money in that space. And so I'm going to suggest an iron condor. What an iron condor is a call spread and a put spread. So the put spread is on one side, the call spread is on the other side. What the iron condor does, and let me show you how a risk profile might look. An iron condor will look like this if it is a short iron condor. And a short iron condor means that I've sold the call spread and I've sold the put spread. And the two pieces give me a credit that becomes cash I can have in my account, right? And if you have a bigger account, as you get cash into it, you can also do sweep things, but you need to have portfolio margining for that sort of stuff. But there are a lot of things that you can do holding on to that credit. Now, what the price action says is that as long as it keeps in between these two areas, I'm going to make money. And if it keeps in the areas of the short strike, here I have it at 175. And the long strike, here I have it at 205. Those are going to give me that area where I have max gains. It looks different to a butterfly. The butterfly has a point, and at that one point, you make max return. With an iron condor, it's like a ledge.
It's almost like a plateau is kind of what it looks like here.
Exactly. So I'm going to take a snapshot of this particular strike, and let's argue a little bit about whether these are the right strikes or not. Okay. And I just, that input space that says, hey, I want to know what's going on here. And so let's open this to about 165, and let's close our properties tab.
The one thing I will say here, it is difficult to see those values. So when you're talking about either boundary or any of those values, mention the actual number so we can kind of use that as a placekeeper, because that gold on the black is not great for sharing. That's think or swim for you, though. Absolutely.
Okay, so let me see if I can share another screen.
Okay.
Present, share screen.
So, Anne-Marie, while you're getting that up here, there is a question here. Why would you mess with Boeing when there are so many other names working?
Wow. You know what? That's a fair question. That's a fair question. The question then becomes, what's my goal to engage with Boeing? When I say what's working, what might that also mean, right? And so here's my premise. I trade Boeing a lot. I know how Boeing moves. And my premise here is, I don't really care what Boeing does, just so long as it doesn't do too much. This is my trade that says I'm going to make money day by day by day, instead of having to manage something that's in trend that could reverse, or out of trend that might fall into trend. And so I am suspecting that Boeing, which is not working to the long side and likely won't work to the short side much longer, I'm going to trap revenue where it's sitting in the middle. But that is a very good question. It moves into the bigger picture that says, what's your style of trading? Do you like moving into momentum and just sticking with momentum? If that answer is yes, then the options that you might want to pick are just either straight calls, straight puts, or call spreads, where you buy a call and then you finance it with a sell of a call below it, or put spreads, where you buy a put and then sell a put above it to finance that sort of motion. But that is a very, very good point.
Okay. Do you have that screenshot that you want to bring up? Can I add that to the?
Yes. Did I bring it?
No, it was just you and me with that discussion there. We didn't have the screenshot on. So here you go. Here is what we're looking at on Boeing. This looks like the tray. You actually just kind of clipped this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're seeing is that 205 to 220, and then 175 to 160. Now you might say, Anne-Marie, that 175 is kind of close. It's only $10 away. Yes. And it could dip into that 175. But as I mentioned, if we're looking at this particular trade, we realize that many times when it comes into this area, it bounces very cleanly off of those edges. And we're looking at a momentum event that potentially will give us a V bottom. And so those are my thoughts. So how do you want to manage this kind of trade? Well, first thing, we collect $3.60. So $360 we collect in the space. Let me take a peek. The profit factor is the following. So let's go back to, while you're looking at that, this has a delta, this position has a delta of 3. We can't really see that from the snapshot that I took, but it has a delta of 3. Remember, when you have a delta of 3, it's telling you that there's a 3% chance that this option spread ends up in the money. That means there's about a 97% chance that we're right. So this formation gives us a lot of opportunity to make money from a probability perspective, even though our risk is wider. So you might go, Anne-Marie, what are you talking about the risk? I have a $15 spread on each side. So if you're a regular stock trader, or maybe even a straight options trader, you might think, why would I want to risk $11.40 to make $3.60? And the answer is the following. If I did this trade, probabilistically speaking, 100 times, 97% of the time, I would collect my $360, and 3% of the time, I would have to pay that $11.40. Now, there's also a flip side to that. You don't have to wait until it goes all the way in the money. When I take a spread like this, I will say set an alert for 205 and set an alert for 175. If it gets to 175 and stays there for more than 3 days, you cut and run, no matter what's going on.
Okay.
Sometimes it's going to do it early in the position and you'll still make money. Sometimes it does it later in the position and the risk will run away from you. But again, $3.60 is what you collected. So it's got to get to $7.20 before all of your collection is completely scratched and you're upside down in the trade. So just remember that $360, just put an alert at 205 and 175, and you're going to know what you need to do when that alert comes.
Okay. Awesome. So do you pretty much do that? Do you basically rely on the alerts for all of those trades, or is it just
every single one? Every single one. That's where we put it up in Benzinga. I set the alert and then it comes onto my phone. So no matter where I am, I can go, I got to take a look in here, and then I can open up my laptop and send a note to Benzinga where we are.
Okay. Awesome. So that takes care of, do you have any other trades here for us, or is it just the Boeing trade here today?
Well, you know, I kind of wanted to look at, we know last time we were here, we talked about Apple. That trade is doing fairly well. We could also talk about, and I don't really want to call it that, but that's what it is. We could talk about the fade in RTX, because they are the war machine. And I think that, I know, right? And I think that, let me stop this and go to the next one. And I think that they're worth looking at to see this fade that they're in the midst of, that I find to be quite interesting. And so what I'd like to look at first is the chart to see, can you tell I've traded this a lot? Let me clear this drawing set.
You want me to bring this up real quick? Like, we can't see the screen yet.
That's weird. Okay, yeah, you can bring it up. Absolutely.
Here we go.
Absolutely. And so looking at RTX, it's been in an upward draft for a fair amount of time, but it's had 5 or 6 chances. If we look at it on a weekly, we can see it's had 5 or 6 chances to break out above 100, and it's not been able to do it. So above 100 and stay there, right? It got to like 108. But the key question might be, we just finished an earnings event. The next one is at the end of April. What might a chart like this look like? And the longer I look at it, the more I go, you know, I don't know what this chart's going to do. But the key thing that we can do is say the following. From looking at this chart, it can't break 100 and stay there. And it doesn't seem to break 80 and stay there for long either, though it did gap down fairly significantly in the lows that were made in 2023 in that space. So if I was looking at this chart and thinking, well, is the war machine going to do anything? I don't have an answer, yes or no, but what I do have is the range. And so the reason that I bring this up is because this is the type of chart you want to see in general if you are trading an iron condor. An iron condor tells us that range is the predominant rotation. And so if you're saying to yourself, wow, you know what? I know I'm taking some other trades, but wouldn't it be nice if I just had a theta erosion trade that no matter what the chart did, I could make a little money every day on this particular position. I wouldn't really have to nurse it just so long as I had my alert set up. And that's what you want to look at. So if you ever take a look at a chart, go to those weekly formations and say, hang on, is this chart sitting in a range? And then you can price out those ranges and use different option months to tell you which one is going to give you a greater reward. So for me, let's say the chart, let's go back to Boeing. Let's say the chart does something terrible and it rotates all the way down and keeps going down. So I have an April expiration. And so if I have an April expiration, I really don't want to spend a ton of time hanging on to this past April, because May, June, July, August, those months can be, they're not the best performing months of the year. And so I would prefer to take less on the credit, have the options expire at the end of April, and then I can look to see, well, you know what, does this thing have more downside action? Maybe I can sell a call spread. Maybe I can buy a put spread. So that's really the only thing I wanted to share right there.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense there. I like iron condors seem to be the type of option strategy that would best suit my type of trading. To me, like I want to be able to capture whenever the stock's in a range and it looks like it's going to stay in that range. That's what I want to capture. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Looking forward to diving into some more of these as we can. You ready to do this again on Friday?
Absolutely. I'll be joining you. It'll be a little bit dark, but I'll be joining you from Portugal.
That sounds pretty awesome. Joining us from Portugal sounds amazing. Okay. Great. Real good stuff there. We are going to be joined here by Aaron Bree pretty soon. We're going to be moving over to Benzinga Live as soon as Aaron is ready. Anne-Marie, I got to say, I really appreciate this. I really appreciate kind of going through some of these multi-leg option trades here. This is definitely something that I feel like if I could add this to my portfolio, I'd really kind of give myself a better chance at capitalizing on a lot of these names.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer for you. Let me ask you, does structuring your options trades like this, do you find that you end up trading more or less positions as if you, instead of if you were just trading like, let's say, calls and puts?
So I am what you would call a serial option seller. So I'm always trying to use somebody else's money.
Okay.
And
I like that.
I'm always trying to use somebody else's money. And so what I will look at it's been a while since I said, hey, listen, just buy the straight option. But if the option's only 90 cents, then you go, oh yeah, $90. I have my risk well defined. And if it drops below, whatever risk threshold I've chosen, then I'm out. But in the grand scheme of things, I am always legging in and out of trades, because the better you know the chains, the easier it is for you to leverage someone else's money when the risk is well defined. And that's what I always work on. How defined is my risk? And, listen, it would be great to have bought an NVIDIA option for $25. They were running about $25 for the 800 when they were going, when NVIDIA was about 500, they were still charging $25 for the $800 option for the call. And so if I'm going to spend $2,500 now, in hindsight, I'd be like, oh man, I wish I'd have done that. But that's $2,500 risk per option. And so I'd much rather try to go, hey, how can I finance this using somebody else's money? And the great thing is, when you sell an option, time becomes your friend.
Right.
When you buy an option, time is always your enemy.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Really, really appreciate it. We will see you on Friday.
My pleasure. It was fun. Take care,
All right.
everybody.
Take care. Safe travels, and we'll see you from Portugal.
Thanks.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. All right. Let's bring on Aaron Bree. Aaron, how you doing today, my man?
I'm good, Ryan. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Happy Tuesday here. We're one day closer to the birthday, so looking forward to that. What you got coming up on Benzinga Live for us?
We've got an exciting interview coming up with Will Peck from WisdomTree here in a couple minutes. Then we'll be breaking down some of the top stories on the street market, ripping on this CPI report. I'll talk a little bit about why that is, and then we'll be getting into all access a little bit after that. So we've got a full lineup for us today. Thank you, Ryan. We'll go ahead and transition into Benzinga Live.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. All right. Yeah, guys, by the way, Ryan does have a birthday coming up, so make sure to wish Mr. Faluna a very, very happy 28th birthday. All right, let's go ahead and roll that intro. And we come back, we'll be talking again to Will Peck from WisdomTree.
You are watching Benzinga Live.
Welcome back to another episode.
I think Tesla could be vulnerable to that.
Layoffs happened today on Google, and the market's on.
In terms of breaking.
Amazon, Salesforce, Apple.
All right, so here at Benzinga, if you've been following us for a while, we've been talking about crypto for a while, and obviously, you know, crypto has grown a lot. When we first started talking about crypto, there was a lot of different things going on, but maybe not a lot of utility yet, not a lot of use cases for some of the crypto you're holding, mostly just being held as a speculative asset. Maybe you were transferring Bitcoin into ETH and then ETH into something else. But now we've got these Bitcoin ETFs, and we have other companies like WisdomTree that are using Bitcoin, crypto, digital assets, and allowing customers now to use those digital assets. And I've got my man Will Peck hanging out backstage. So let's go ahead and welcome Will on and hear more about what WisdomTree is doing and their new products available. All right, Will, welcome to Benzinga Live. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Aaron?
I am good. So before we get started, do you want to just give us a quick breakdown of what WisdomTree is and what do you do there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm head of digital assets at WisdomTree, as my bio there says. WisdomTree is an ETF sponsor. So we have one of the Bitcoin ETFs that you mentioned, among a lot of other ETFs here in the US and in Europe. And I lead our digital assets initiative, which, you know, including the Bitcoin ETF that we've got, also covers WisdomTree Prime, tokenization, and a lot of the blockchain crypto stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk to you about this stuff because, like I mentioned, we're starting to see more and more of this utility come into the crypto space. Can you talk a little bit about this WisdomTree Prime and maybe the new, debit card that I know is available to customers now?
Yeah, absolutely. So WisdomTree Prime, it's a personal finance app, just like a lot of other fintech, neobank, neo-broker apps that you might see, mobile first experience. What's unique about it is that we've actually built it on blockchain. So, WisdomTree's background, like I said, ETF sponsor. ETF's really a better way to invest than mutual funds is the company's history. And we saw a similar thing with blockchain and tokenization. So we built an app, a new thing for us to do, launching it right now. For retail investors, retail savers, retail spenders, to kind of bring together that experience in one app using this new infrastructure technology, and that's WisdomTree Prime that we've got.
Got it. And I mean, I imagine right now, obviously since the ETFs were approved, had a slight dip there on Bitcoin and some of the big cryptos, right? Like when those things got approved. But since then, I mean, it's just been all systems go and everything's been ripping. Have you guys seen a big influx in interest in WisdomTree Prime and other digital assets?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, across the board for WisdomTree, we've seen a lot of interest, whether that's our product here in the US and also a great suite of products that we have in Europe as well. And then with WisdomTree Prime, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly showing some of the potential. One of the things WisdomTree Prime offers, trading in Bitcoin and Ether alongside digital gold and a suite of, effectively funds that we have that invest in securities, but all on blockchain. So, I mean, market across all factors is ripping right now. So we are seeing continued interest in this. But really, what we've done that's unique is kind of connect this to the rest of your personal finance life, right? I find that, your crypto account can like sit over here very far away from your other investments or your payments, right? And bringing that together in one app and kind of natively connected via the infrastructure is a big advantage that we see. So if you've got, large gains in Bitcoin, you want to fund, purchases more easily, we allow you to do that in WisdomTree Prime.
And so how exactly does it work? I mean, so say I own, Bitcoin or the Bitcoin ETF in my WisdomTree Prime, then I have a debit card linked to the account. I mean, as I use the debit card, does it sell a portion of my holdings or what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, the way we've built it, we've built the infrastructure to do that, and we say, you've got your spending balance that we calculate for you currently based on just your dollar tokens that you have in your wallet. In the future, we can include other assets in that spending balance, like Bitcoin, Ether, or digital gold, for example. So when you swipe your debit card at, McDonald's or Starbucks, you can debit directly from those assets. Also from potentially funds in the future too. And the reason for this is just keeping your money to work for you longer, right? I mean, we've seen today where a lot of people are sitting in checking accounts where banks are paying you nothing when interest rates are at 5%. We've seen a lot of people kind of fleeing or leaving bank accounts to move to things like money market funds or other yielding instruments because of this, right? Because like there's real money on the table today if you're just sitting in cash that's paying you nothing. So whether you want to hold that in crypto, whether you want to hold it in stocks, bonds, whatever it is, we just want to provide you that choice with a better user experience where you can then spend directly from that, keeping your money working for you longer.
So to be clear, on WisdomTree Prime, it doesn't need to be in crypto and then to use this debit card. You could also be in the S&P 500.
Yeah, in a theoretical example, yes. And I mean, to be clear, like right now, we just launched it. We're just doing it based off of dollars, but we're adding that additional functionality very soon. And the way we've built the infrastructure actually allows you to do that.
And because like you said, I mean, that's my biggest thing is that right now, I think, a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people don't have enough savings at all. And then, but the people that do, some of them are still just holding them in, very, very low interest rate savings accounts, or they're just sitting in cash and not really doing anything. And, today we got the CPI report, like there's still inflation out there. And if you're not letting your money grow at all, then you're getting hit by inflation and you're missing out on these potential gains, whether it be by sitting in crypto, bonds, market, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you always need to look at this as part of a whole portfolio, right? I wouldn't recommend anyone they just like YOLO all into Bitcoin or anything like that. But like, if you think about having a balanced portfolio across that, keeping your money working for you longer. I mean, that's how so many financial services firms make their money, right? Even brokerages like Schwab, Robinhood, whatever, they make their money because people sit in cash. So if you have offerings where people don't need to sit in cash to get kind of the transactional benefit that they want, then that's a real user experience, customers like experience benefit that we think this new technology is unlocking. So, WisdomTree's seen that. We've got some products kind of at the short end of the treasury curve that have done extremely well recently. And we thought, why should this not be at the center of somebody's day-to-day financial life? And that's why we built WisdomTree Prime.
Got it. Well, what other, I mean, is WisdomTree, are you guys working on anything else that, you're very excited about or can share us more insights on?
Yeah, I mean, look, so WisdomTree Prime, like I said, save, spend, invest app with a lot of these assets in there, Bitcoin, Ether, gold. I'd say it's more of an investing app than like a trading app, right? This isn't some place you can come to play, dog with hat or anything or Dogecoin, whatever. So an investing app, I mean, one thing that I'm excited about seeing in the space is blockchain on-ramps and off-ramps, right? The ability to fund and transfer assets and value between different apps more natively. You're seeing that with like the PayPal stablecoin that launched, right? Where PayPal is actually making that a center of what they do. And that's what's a cool thing about blockchain. It's actually infrastructure that's shared that can talk more easily to each other. You can send Bitcoin from your Coinbase account to like your Fidelity account, whatever. That's what blockchain allows you to do in a better way than the existing financial services rails exist today. So we've got some great, offerings on the way in terms of being able to fund your WisdomTree Prime account, do more stuff with it. So that's what we're very excited about at WisdomTree. We've also got a great suite of ETFs covering, Bitcoin, like I said, but a variety of other asset classes that, are great product offerings.
Yeah, right now with the ETFs, I mean, are there any that are particularly interesting besides, I mean, we talked about the Bitcoin crypto ones. Those have obviously been hot, but outside the crypto space, any ETFs that, you're real excited about?
Yeah, I can't kind of talk about too much the specifics on it, but we've got a broad suite of ETFs. I mean, I think you're seeing the market, international stocks kind of doing also well as well. So it's I mean, it's definitely an interesting time given that, if you told us 2 years ago or 3 years ago when rates were at zero, that rates would be at 5% and like a lot of stuff would still be ripping like this, and Bitcoin would be at $72,000, I think you'd be surprised. But maybe, the American economy and other stuff is just doing so exceedingly well that people are, seeing the benefits here. So nothing that I can kind of talk about in too much specifics on the ETF side, but it's certainly an exciting time for the firm generally and for markets broadly.
Got it. Then Will, what about, I mean, the biggest story of the market this year has been, I mean, outside of what you just mentioned, the market holding up despite higher rates, which, like you said, I mean, this would have been shocking to a lot of economists, traders, whatever, a couple years ago. The biggest story has been revolved around AI. Anything WisdomTree is doing with AI that's, that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, we're a technology forward organization. Unlike a lot of financial services firms, we kind of put this at the core of what we do. So, I mean, frankly, I'm personally using AI as kind of a workflow solution, right? And trying to improve my own performance and efficiency. And I think as a firm, we're encouraging people to do that. So, we've got ETFs that kind of have AI exposure as well, or try and use AI to improve the investing performance, or invest in AI based companies. So, but yeah, I think you can't ignore this, right? Like if you're just trying to hide from it, it's you can't. So we believe AI is here to stay. We're trying to incorporate it as part of our business, both to become more efficient and also to improve returns for investors. So that's how we're using AI at WisdomTree.
Got it. Well, Will, this has been awesome. Love learning more about WisdomTree Prime and some of your other offerings. Very cool to see, like you said, the financial services companies that are on that cutting edge, offering these new products, doing things digitally. Any other hot takes or anything you want to leave us with for the rest of the day?
No, it's been good talking to you, Aaron, and encourage people to check out WisdomTree Prime, wisdomtreeprime.com, go to the App Store, and thanks for having me on.
Beautiful. Thank you for coming on, Will. We'll have to catch up soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Again, that was Will Peck from WisdomTree. If you guys want to go check out more from them, I'll drop that link in the chat. Very cool. I mean, I love that idea of being able to use a debit card spend directly from your account, because it really cuts away the need of like having cash just sitting there. Like right now, I still have cash sitting just in my Bank of America checking account doing absolutely nothing. And the only reason it's there is because it's more liquid and I can do things with it. But if I could do those same things in a different account, then it can be invested again, whether that be in a crypto ETF or whether that be in the S&P 500. Like I think you're always going to be better off having your money work for you rather than it just sitting there. And right now, I mean, sure, it's not the same exact market environment as 2021 when everything was ripping and interest rates are at zero. But almost with the higher interest rates, you have more opportunities, right? You can go throw it into some T-bills that are guaranteed to get you 5%. It's so let's see. Oh, J Rice saying K-Web strong today. Yeah, so we did have some kind of bullish. Let me go ahead and share my Benzinga Pro. We did have some bullish news out of China yesterday. Some sort of like committee. Let's see. Yeah, this National People's Congress event. Additionally, China's consumer price index rose, possibly easing some deflation concerns. I mean, I've talked about this a lot, that like I'm ready to take a stab at BABA. I am still holding it. BABA, honestly, really, I mean, based on this news, I was hoping it'd be up maybe a little bit more, but only trading at $76. But you can see here some of these other Chinese names, I'm sure, like JD.com. Yeah, JD.com having a good day. China opportunity, certainly interesting. We did have Thomas Hayes on a few weeks ago who talked about Canada Goose, as a potential China recovery play there. Ooh, that chart's looking good. I like that. And anytime you get a stock that's beaten down like this, then it slowly starts trickling higher. I really like that, because the further you get away, I mean, from $10 to $13 now in the last few months, you're looking at a 30% rise. But what this chart is telling me is that, the bullish traders aren't coming in and just selling immediately, taking their gains and running. They're still in it because they think there's more juice to be squeezed out of this. So I like the way that chart looks. Again, that was from Thomas Hayes as a potential China rebound play. Let's go check out the S&P 500. Take a look at it on the 2-minute chart here. Looks like we are leaking a little bit. So you can see here, I mean, right at 8:30 this morning where my cursor is, this is where we got the CPI report. Spiked lower on the hotter than expected CPI top line numbers, and the market came back strong. I mean, the buy the dip mentality worked again. They sold the dip right at the open. You can see here, 9:45 is when people started trying to start buying back. Once you took out that open price right here at around 514, then it was off to the races, got above 516, went to 516.50 at one point, and now trying to sell off a little bit. And here's my interpretation of this, and this is not, the most expert economic opinion in the world, but how I am interpreting this move is essentially that the inflation numbers came out and showed they were hotter than expected, which means the economy is in all likelihood still doing well, still running hot. So you don't have this economic slowdown, recession type thing you have to worry about. But the number wasn't so hot or too hot that it would warrant a rate hike in the next cycle or whatever. Because if that inflation number, so the expectation was for it to come in at 3.7%, came in at 3.8%. If instead of coming in at 3.8%, it came in at 4.2%, okay, now then we might be having a more serious conversation about rate hikes. And if we go over to the CME watch tool, which gives us a breakdown of, our odds at a next rate hike, and this is using the bond markets and different things to kind of calculate these numbers, you can see our target rate probabilities for the March 20th meeting are for us to stay exactly where we are. There's a 1% chance they say we cut 0.25%. I don't think that's very likely. It's clearly not likely. It's only 1%. Then you go out to May. It's still not showing any possibility for a raise. And that's where you want, that's like really where the focus is right now is are we looking at a potential rate hike instead of these potential rate cuts? Because I think at this point, people are now all basically in agreement that are the amount of rate cuts that we were expecting heading into the year, the way the dot plot was showing, I mean, 6 rate cuts, whatever it was, is not likely anymore. And the people that have been in this higher for longer camp have been correct. The problem is that most of the people that have been in this higher for longer camp have also been more bearish than bullish and saying we're going to have rates higher for longer than people think, which means the market is going to go down. I'm not saying everyone that is in that camp has had that thought, but that's from most of what I've seen from investors, traders, not just retail, but hedge fund managers on Twitter, people that have called for this higher for longer for a while. And again, they've been right on that. They've been vindicated on that call, but they have not been right about it having this negative impact on the markets. And there's a lot of reasons why that is, but the main one primarily is that the higher for longer is predicated on us having strong economic conditions. So I think a lot of people anticipated the fact that you'd be having higher for longer because inflation was ramping back up super high, which again, that is why the rates are going to be higher for longer, because inflation has shown to be sticky, but the inflation hasn't been running back up to what we saw, a couple years ago. So, again, I don't really think high interest rates is a bad thing or a bad thing for the market environment, as long as that's coupled with strong economic conditions. If you have crumbling economic conditions, which can come from a number of different things, either a slowdown, you start seeing pain in the labor market, you start seeing inflation ramping back up, and you have high interest rates. Okay, now that's a bad environment for stocks because you get that double whammy of people worried about a recession and high interest rates. But right now, it's the opposite. You have high interest rates, but you don't have any worry about a recession. And the more and more economic data that we get, like we got today, further proves that the economy, for all intents and purposes, I'm not saying that the economy is, oh my God, amazing, beautiful, everyone's doing well, because I know that's not true. But the bottom line is that the economy has held up better than expected. And that's why you're seeing interest rates being able to stay where they're at now. And again, like looking at our CME watch tool, I mean, going back to this, look, I mean, a month ago, they were showing us a 16% chance for a cut. So about 1 in 5, a little bit less than 1 in 5. We'll call it 1 in 6. Now that's 1 in 100. And why have those odds decreased so much? Because now, since a month ago on February 12th, we've gotten more data that shows that our economy is still running hot and doing well. So again, I'm not coming up here and saying, oh my God, the economy is so strong, everyone's doing so well, because I talk to people, I hear people, I know myself, I know my own situation, carrying some credit card debt. No.
You broke?
What did Nate say? Yeah. And so again, yeah, I know how it is. So like, I'm not saying again, it's like amazing for everyone, but
I did not call you broke.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing over there, but I'm glad we can
I just came to hang out with you for a few minutes.
I'm glad we can only see your face right now because I don't know what's going on down there.
It's called a walking treadmill. That's how you get your steps in. Lose some weight a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I guess whatever works. Calling me broke. Obviously, this guy can't afford Ozempic over here.
I can't afford a what?
Ozempic.
Yeah, I don't know what the side effects will be like 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 years down the road.
Let's go to IWM. I see Jay Rice talking about it in the chat. IWM getting no love, and I mean, this is where the higher inflation, interest rate worries are going to hit the hardest. We talked about this on pre-market prep today. Any small cap stock, any stock that needs to borrow money, any stock that's not super profitable or strong balance sheet, those are the stocks that are going to get hit by this. I mean, if you're an IWM, if you were long IWM, you wanted a cooler than expected inflation report, 100%. And honestly, like if we had that, I have no doubt that IWM would be trading higher, and that probably that means the S&P 500 and the other indices wouldn't be doing so hot. Because again, like a big slowdown in inflation, you want to see this thing kind of steady out and trickle down. You don't want to see a huge drop in inflation. I mean, we just looked at the China news, and part of the reason the K-Web is up so much today is because China's CPI was higher than expected, which was above consensus, which means that they're, exits deflation territory. You don't want to be in deflation territory. You don't want to be in hyperinflation territory either. So, you're kind of just trying to find this sweet spot, this Goldilocks zone, which I think today's report, would I have liked it to be a little bit lighter? Yeah, I think we all would have. But at the end of the day, like it was better than a lot of other ways it could have been, both in terms of inflation being much lower and inflation being much higher. Let's see. SMCI having a good day. Let's check in on some of these high-flying stocks that we talked about this morning on pre-market prep. Wow, SMCI up another $80 today, 7.5%. We'll go to the daily chart here. You can see after a couple week days in SMCI, you get this big red day last Friday, yesterday, trying to come back. And we talked about this. Is this the momentum trade, steam running out? Or is it just a healthy pullback? And if you were coming in buying a dip on NVIDIA yesterday when it reached 850, you're feeling pretty good. You're up $50 a share today, up another 6%. I mean, other AI plays, we looked at Oracle up 11% on the strong earnings, and they mentioned AI and NVIDIA, of course, too. So we talked about this running out of steam. Is there a potential that we're running to the end of the cycle on this bull run for these names? Sure, of course, it's possible. But it's also possible that we just saw a healthy pullback after some of these names had ran up so much so quickly. Other high flyer names that traded down yesterday that I wanted to check in. Celsius Holdings. Okay, getting a nice bounce back here. Celsius up, let's see, about 5% today. You can see here on the chart. Again, you had these leaders, and I got shit for this today on pre-market prep. I really don't understand why. When I say leader, I'm not talking about necessarily a stock. Like NVIDIA is your clear leader of the year, right, Junaid? One of them. All right,
yeah, I mean, absolutely. No question.
Zane's not even talking to me anymore. No, okay.
I agree, yes.
NVIDIA and other AI plays have been your clear leaders.
Yes.
But when I'm talking about leaders, or I guess if I'm just saying that, colloquially, I'm not talking about stocks that are driving the market. I'm just talking about stocks that are outperforming the market. So someone who's giving me shit
I think you used it wrong then. I think you got to use relative strength alongside the NVIDIAs of the world. Then people won't give you.
What do you call Carvana that's up, 60% year to date and has been one of the leading
a missed
stocks.
opportunity when it was at $5.
Okay, well, again, I'm going to call Carvana a leader, not because it's leading the market move or because it's driving the market higher, but because if you look at a list of 1,000 stocks, not a lot of them are up more than 60% year to date. Carvana is one of those stocks. It has been a leader in that sense. So I'm open to, calling it something else, whatever. I just also think it's silly to say, how could you call Carvana a leader when it's up 60%? Like, again, I'm not saying it's driving the market, but it's clearly leading other stocks when you're just looking at return. But my point is that a lot of these high flying stocks, we just call them momentum names. A lot of these momentum names,
there you go.
Celsius, Carvana, SMCI, you name it, looked like they had some wind taken out of the sails the past few days. Now you're seeing some of them bounce back. You're not seeing Carvana have that strong of a day, still down more than 1%. So seeing some divergence in those names, that they're not all just momentum names. Some of them are trading back today. Some people are going out and buying the dip on some of the names, but not all the names. So again, always if you're grouping these stocks together, and again, I was grouping all those stocks together. They were all momentum names. And on days they were all trading up, they were all trading up by a decent amount. But now you're starting to see some divergence. And that's one of the key things, is that if you're going to trade groups and be grouping a pair of stocks, notice when you have some divergence. And today there's clear divergence against Carvana, which is having another bad day, and Celsius. Because again, if you look at the days leading up to that, they were basically all green when they were green, and they were all red when they were red. And there's really no relationship between Carvana, a company that, sells and buys cars, and Celsius, a company that sells energy drinks, other than the fact that they were both in this momentum stock grouping and really being, very strong all year.
Yeah, no, and it'll be interesting to see if and when the tide turns, how these stocks react, because I'm not sure if they're fundamentally accurate as well. But I know you got a guess. I know you got a question. So I'm going to get out of here. We'll talk later. Bye.
Fun couple. I don't know exactly what that means. I know Zunaid has some experience with fun couples, but when is CPI data coming out? That came out this morning, fun couple. Guess y'all were having too much fun. But anyway, the numbers came in a slightly hotter than expected. But the market did, undeterred by it, basically saying, hey, that shows that the economy isn't really slowing down, but like I mentioned earlier, not really hot enough that it warrants a rate hike. So, inflation came out. It was expected to be 3.7% in the month of February, ended up being 3.8%. The other numbers came in pretty in line. I think year over year, core CPI stayed at 3.3%. So you had inflation that has shown continued to be sticky, but nothing again that a year and a half ago when we were seeing CPI at 10% and inflation at 40-year highs, that was bad news for stocks because it meant rate hikes were coming. This is a little bit different because you just have a tiny little bit of inflation coming in a little bit more, a little bit higher than expected, but it's nothing to derail the market. In fact, the market's actually responding pretty well to it. You look at your Qs, up more than 1%, giving up a little bit of gains here. Looking at the 2-minute chart here, you can see we topped out at around 443. So I guess when it's all said and done, it looked scary right when the number came out and we dipped down here to 437. It looked scary right at the open when the Qs dipped down to 436. But when it's all said and done, I guess Mr. Market decided that he liked this report. Doesn't mind it at the very least. Of course, fun couple. Can you invite Meet Kevin to collab on your next show? Sure, that's a great suggestion. We've had Meet Kevin on before, and if you guys also have, if you guys have other guest ideas, people you'd love to see on the show, let us know, and Zunaid and I will do our best to make it happen. All right, guys, it is time for us to transition into our all access today. Give me a few seconds to transition over. All righty. Oh, there we go. All right. We've got ChromaCel coming on today. We've got the CEO, Frank Noodle, hanging out backstage. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Frank on the show. Frank, before we get started, how'd I do on your last name? Because I'm not.
Thank you, Aaron, for having me. And it was a bit off, but
Okay, how do you
it's
pronounce it? I don't want to get it wrong again.
It's Nuddle.
Nuddle.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. With the K and the N, and it's I had to guess there for a little bit, but I'm glad that we got that straightened away. So Frank, before we get into it, do you mind just giving us a brief rundown of what ChromaCel is and what you guys do?
Sure. So ChromaCel Therapeutics Corporation is a company whose mission is to bring non-opioid pain treatment therapies to the market. We have a number of different programs, which we can talk about in greater detail, to tackle systemic chronic pain associated with erythromelalgia or small fiber neuropathy, and acute and chronic eye pain associated with trauma, PRK, LASIK, and a whole bunch of other indications. But principally, our goal is to bring non-opioid pain treatment therapies to the market, and we have other programs in the pipeline behind those as well.
Got it. So, Frank, what's the, I guess, overall mission of ChromaCel?
Yeah, as I referenced briefly, it's really to tackle the opioid epidemic. So, as we all know, the problems we've experienced with the overprescription of opioids over the last 10 or 15 years, and associated with dependency issues and mortality issues. Our mission is to bring alternate pain treatment therapies to the market to chip away at the prevalence of the opioids.
Got it. I mean, I know it's a huge market opportunity there. What specific indications are you addressing right now?
Sure, there's a couple different ones. So the announced ones are 2 systemic chronic pain indications. One for erythromelalgia, which is an orphan designated illness, which will take advantage of the orphan process, meaning a shorter and quicker time to approval. And the other is for idiopathic small fiber neuropathy. Also on an orphan illness, but much larger. So those are the 2 for chronic pain. And then those are both in phase 2 ready. And then the treatment of acute and chronic eye pain is preclinical. And based on the same compound that we've developed that is proprietary to the company, and for which we have considerable patent protection around. But for the treatment of eye pain, that's the next indication. And then there's some additional indications that we've not yet announced that we're reviewing, also based on non-opioid pain treatment options.
Got it. And I know you just mentioned it slightly there, but can we just recap what stage your different programs are in right now?
Sure. So the systemic chronic pains are phase 2 ready. We're doing a dose study, a dose titration study for both of those programs. I have one study for both programs to address the one noticeable effect we had in our phase 1 study, which was the incidence of rashes. It's important to note that we didn't have any liver or kidney toxicity, no impacts on the central nervous system, but we did have some rashes in about 4% of the population, and we're doing a titration study to address that, and then we'll move directly into proof of concepts for either or erythromelalgia or small fiber neuropathy. And then for the treatment of eye pain, we are preclinical at this point, and we'll be launching our tox studies on rabbits in the coming months. And from there, we will move right into proof of concept in humans by towards the end of the year.
Got it. Then Frank, what does the IP portfolio look like for ChromaCel right now?
Sure. So our core compound upon which both programs are based is patented in the United States through approximately 2034, and in other jurisdictions covering another almost 2 billion people. And we are in the process of working on our patent program to get patent term adjustments, as well as to file additional patents around the existing core patent program to both lengthen and expand the moat around our IP. With the patent term extension, we anticipate getting out to approximately 2040. providing a really long runway for us to both complete development as well as to monetize post-development the drug we've developed.
Got it. And then looking ahead for the rest of 2024, what are ChromaCel's milestones and runway?
Sure. So as some of you may know, we went public approximately a month ago on the New York Stock Exchange American platform, and raised capital that we believe will take us through the year based on the programs we're working on. As for the specific milestones, we will get through the dose escalation study, the titration study, and prove safety with that on top of the phase 1 safety analysis already done. And just as a sidebar, we did 3 separate phase 1 trials involving 165 patients. So we actually really vetted the safety, and I just need to tackle the rash issue. And we've invested approximately $30 million to date. So we've done a lot of homework in support of this, and in developing the patent portfolio related there too.
Well, it sounds awesome. Sounds like you guys have a lot of exciting things for investors to look forward to. Frank, do you want to leave us with any, hot takes or anything like that when it comes to the overall biotech industry?
Well, clearly the biotech industry had suffered during 22 and a fair amount of 2023. I think, frankly, it reached its nadir, multi-decade nadir. But I think actually at this point we have seen a level of activity and believe that there is substantial support behind that activity to drive the development of drugs, both at ChromaCel as well as other firms. So I think we're clearly rising out of the depths that we experienced, and I think it's an unbelievably good time to get back into life science and biotech.
Yeah, we've heard from so many of our audience members, people who have been buying the dip on biotech, looking at the XBI and been waiting for this to heat back up, and certainly signs of that the past 6 months or so. So again, CHRO ticker there for ChromaCel. Go check it out. Frank, thank you so much for hopping on Benzinga's All-Access with us today. Look forward to learning more about ChromaCel and talking again in the future.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me on the program today.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your busy Tuesday.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Again, that was Frank Nuttall from ChromaCel Therapeutics. Shout out to ChromaCel for joining us today. Ticker CHRO again. I love doing all access. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You don't really get a lot of places, especially for free on YouTube. You get to learn about these publicly traded companies directly from those, C-suite members and executives that are running the companies. And it's very special that we get to do it here on Benzinga. So please smash the like for Frank and ChromaCel for joining us today. It's about 10 afternoon here on the East Coast, or in the East Coast time zone at least. So that means it's a little bit past time for us to wrap up for the day. Thank you to everyone who joined us on live trading, Benzinga Live, and All Access. Again, I'll ask one more time. Actually, I'm imploring one more time to please smash the like if you haven't already. We will be back later this afternoon with some more great content. Make sure to stick around. You do not want to miss out. And of course, as always, I'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. Well, it's actually not even bright anymore. It's just early. It's dark now when we start at 8 a.m. after the time change. But 8 a.m. tomorrow, Eastern time, we'll be back on pre-market prep. We've got Tim Seymour coming on, so make sure to stay tuned to that. I'll see you guys there. Till then, take care and stay green.